All right, we are back for another episode of What Did Prince Do This Week? And we have Cassandra Bradley first in the chat. Happy belated Thanksgiving, my beautiful purpose from the ATL. Got my Around the Rolling Day 7-inch box set yesterday.
Nice.
No issues.
Okay.
Got to the shop at 3:14 a.m.
Did you go to was it Moods Music?
Where'd you go, Cassandra? And then
you.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I went to Criminal Records.
Oh,
so
okay.
I got to tell my story. So I got there about an hour and 45 minutes early, and I stood in line. I got in the store, very excited, and a couple of lines in front of me was like, "Where are the Prince box sets?" And they were like, "We think this is the last one." And I was like, "Oh no, this is the only thing I came for." And the guy turned around and he gave it to me.
Wow.
And I could not believe it. Because I just cried. I was like, "Oh
no." Man, that's love. That's some purple love right there.
He didn't see me. He didn't know me. He turned around, but then I had on my little heart with my Prince symbol. He was like, "You really want this, don't you?" I was like, "Uh-huh."
That's what's up.
So thank you to the man with the Erykah Badu sweatshirt
get his name on, so we can shout him out on here.
No, but no. I'm so grateful. So I was able to get my box set. Very excited, and the one thing I'm the most excited about is the raspberry beret, because you get the raspberry vinyl. Look how pretty that is, Michael Dean.
Are those like 45?
Yes, this is a 7-inch box set.
Oh, duh. Okay.
Like duh. So you got your raspberry vinyl for a raspberry beret, which I think is appropriate, and then for your Paisley Park, you got peach vinyl, which is a nice touch because you got your peach lettering on the back, so that looks nice.
Okay.
And then for Pop Life, you got your yellow vinyl, because you got your yellow daisies on the dress.
Okay.
Which is nice.
I'm getting the coordination.
Coordination. The only one that I wish was different was actually America, which is white vinyl. I wish it was like a red, white, and blue marble swirl or something.
Ooh, it would have been cold if they did it if it was red, black, and green, though. Like in the video.
Like in the video. That's what I'm talking about.
That was the message.
Yeah. And then we got For the Tears in Your Eyes, and it has the Where the World version as well as the Hits B-Sides version.
That Old Man Johnson?
Yes, that's Old Man Johnson right there. That's right. All right.
Pain of the struggle.
Yes. And then the little box set had this little sticker on it for Record Store Day.
Oh, wow.
7-inch box set. And then you got all your different colors there, which is kind of cool. Your raspberry, peach, yellow, and white. I love the sticker. I think the sticker's great.
Is Record Store Day usually on a Black Friday?
So the original Record Store Day, so it's 2 Record Store Days a year now, but originally it's in April. So there was a Record Store Day earlier this year in April, which is the original one, but they've started adding this like Black Friday one, maybe for the past 4 or 5 years. I can't remember when it started. Okay, so as a collector, what do you think my pet peeve is going to be, Michael Dean? Do you see this? This is like this sticker is a part of the packaging.
Right.
But what do we know about the original? The original was a cellophane clear sticker that was pasted. I would have preferred that was still the case, just to be, authentic and everything. And
it's kind of, I guess, in the same way. What was it? The heart sticker was on Sign of Times.
That is correct. There you go. And don't forget about all of the Love Sexy stickers on the clear. Those are stickers as well. So we love the sticker action. Wish we had some sticker action here. And my biggest pet peeve, because this is the 3rd singles box set that we've gotten post Prince. The first
what were the other ones?
Sign of Times, we got a singles box set. Remember, it was Peach with the heart.
Yeah.
And then the second one was a Diamonds and Pearls singles box set.
Okay.
And this is the third one. So what was great about the other two is that they are numbered, because technically there are 1,985 copies of this bad boy, supposedly, just like there's 1,991 of Diamonds and Pearls for the year, and 1,988 for the Sign of Times one because of the year. But there's no numbers on this to designate which number you got. So we don't know if it's really 1,985 because we don't have no number. I wish there was a number. That's my
What's your number?
Yes, gotta have a number. All right, so let's get the music going so we can welcome the people. So we got Andre Staley and the
Hopefully you can hear this.
Oh yeah, I can hear it. Ned from Game of Thrones, winter is coming. That's right, Andre. We got Anna B in the house. The band will be back together soon. Okay. Stone Freak is in the house. We all live to see the dawn. Yes, we
Stone
did.
Freak.
We got April Watson. What it do, peeps? Entering the land of purple funk through my 65-inch flat screen.
65 inches of funk. I love it. That's how I watch YouTube too, on the TV.
And we got Karan. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear it's been a challenging 2 weeks, but breathing in an abundance of love and gratitude. We got Nick Felden from Denver. Also got their deluxe copy of Around the World in a Day. I like it. I don't like the We Are the World version of For the Tears in Your Eyes. Talk about that. We got KMS 1984. We got Sister Traw from H-Town. We got Lisa Williams from H-Town. I love the H-Towns are back to back. We got
Houston, what's happening?
From Minneapolis. We got Jamal riding on the Prince train since 1981. Appreciate y'all from Austin, Texas.
Texas is in the building this morning.
That's right. And we got a belated happy Thanksgiving from Canada with Arlene Oak. We got Lady Cab Driver, what it is. We got EA 8133, Olaf from San Francisco. We got Annie Ward from freezing Nice, France, if you don't understand. And then we got Gabrielle from Australia. So happy to be with my Purple fam every week. And we so appreciate you, Gabrielle, tuning in from Australia. We got none other than the one and only Theo joining us. We got Vanessa in the house. We got Chris Bournet. We got Lori Johnson. We got Edgar Krauser in the house. We got Man Ray 10. Man Ray 10 Criminal Records is in the ATL, and whenever I can, I try to be in Atlanta for Record Store Day because there's 3 record stores just in a triangle. Like they're literally less than 2 minutes from one another. You got Criminal Records that founded Record Store Day.
Oh, really?
Yep, Criminal Records founded Record Store Day. Then we got Wax and Facts, my original record store, right around the corner. And then right across the street, you got Moves Music, which is black owned. But they opened too late. They opened too late. Like, so Criminal Records opened at 9. I don't think Moves Music opened until noon. So
CPT time.
Yes, we can't wait for that. We ain't got time for that. All right, we got Heavenly Gains in the house. We got Ron Kayla in the house. Ooh, I can't wait to see the Blue Marble Vinyl too. It's at home. It's there, but I don't have it here. Yes, being a collector is a wonderful thing. Yes, it's so pretty. Let's see, Raywin got, I got my Round the Roll Day, all my music streams, and get my vinyl for Christmas. The picture disc. That's right, Raywin.
Okay.
Picture disc. Can't wait to see it. And we got TP in the house. Let's see. I'm so happy, Kim. That you let me know that it was only 5 sets, Michael Dean. Only 5
We only had 5 of them.
Only got 5 of them at Criminal Records. Yes. I was the last one. Whoever that brother was, I got mad love. I was like,
that's crazy.
Mad love.
Because if I'd be like,
I know you would have, Michael Dean. Oh, yes, Edgar, you want to say the hype stickers? Let's see. Happy Saturday, Purple Fam. I braved the cold for an hour, but didn't get one. Oh, my goodness. Damn. They only had 2. Oh, that sucked. I know. I'm so sorry. I would have been with you, though. Yes, we want to handle them with love and care. Yes, I'm very excited about the singles box set, but you know what I would be even more excited about? It's a Dear Estate moment for Ricky.
Uh-oh.
Dear Estate, we want a 12-inch vinyl box set for something. This would have been amazing for Around the Room
Yeah,
Day.
that would be anytime y'all want to put that out. Yeah, that would.
Yeah, that's the one. Let's see. And I don't know what number I got, Kim, because they ain't got no numbers on here, which is so disappointing. Let's see. The bar got my bosses too. Think they made more than $1,985. Well, I think so. I would hope so. We got Sakari in the house. It's so great to have you here live. Let's see.
I'm sorry, you said they only made 1,099 or something like that.
985 for 1985.
Hilarious.
Yes. That's what it's all about, Michael Dean, and with the collectors. It's about the number. You want number 1 or number 7 or 1985?
I would just think they would want more fans to have them, but I don't know the politics.
Well, you know, with Record Store Day, there's always all of the releases have limited runs.
Oh, okay, got you.
Usually,
Exclusive.
I think, yeah, the highest number I've seen, but someone correct me in the chat, is like 5,000 copies of something. But I can't tell you what it is. But it's usually like 2,000 copies or something like that.
Gotcha.
And yes.
How much were those priced at? Maybe you said that.
The one I got was like almost 120 with tax and all that.
When you say 120, you're not meaning $120, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, got it. Yeah, I would have probably. Yeah, you can have it. You got it. Lord.
That's what my mama said. My mama said his money probably wasn't right. He did a second thought about it.
Yeah, he was like,
yeah.
Got the album.
Yes.
But I love it. I dig it.
Okay. So now Edgar says, I don't believe there are 1,985 because they're about 300 to, in the Netherlands, there are about 300 to 400 of them. That's a lot for the Netherlands.
Well, yeah.
Or not, because, I mean, Prince has a huge...
He was hitting over, a huge overseas
base over there. So maybe they try to gauge what the purchase would be like.
Does the tariffs affect the vinyl?
I would think so.
Really?
I think it affects everything, but I could be wrong. Edgar, did you get one? Let's see. So we got Modern Era. Happy Thanksgiving hour. Thank you for that. Let's see. Look at Theo also got the singles box set. That's what I'm talking about.
Where'd you go, Theo? Where'd you get yours at?
In Seattle. Let's see. And also got the Around the Rolling Day marbled vinyl. And they had a copy of the Maserati album for $15.
Hilarious.
And had to snag it because I'd never seen it before. What condition was your Maserati in? Let's see.
Maserati sighting out in the wild.
Yeah.
Stroke.
We got Melvin from Charlotte, Salisbury, North Carolina. We got Demetrius said Mia Boca was blasting. It was kind of, and it wasn't blasting for me. Then we got Duke Swan. We got L Boogie. Good afternoon. Let's see. I love this. Why does Prince? That's right. Let's see. And then we got the Boombox Guru, also from North Carolina. Yes. That's right. And then Shout Loud for Record Store Day. And Raywin is from California. I don't know. Are you from California or are you just there for the holidays?
Damn, calling him out. Ray. So where are you claiming from? Where set you from? Are you really from the soil or are you just wow?
It's just because, Michael Dean, whenever somebody asks me where I'm from, I always say I'm from Alabama. I just live in New Jersey right now. Okay. So let's see. We got my 2 CD deluxe of Around the Rolling Day arrived Monday. Ooh, okay. So, wait.
Here we go.
Oh my God. Yeah. We got a guest. I'm so excited. Let's join him. Welcome.
There he is.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How y'all doing this morning?
What's going on with JSU?
What's going on? No games today?
No, well, we won last week, which means we play in the conference championship next week.
Okay.
So I won't see y'all next week, And if we win the conference championship next week, we play for the HBCU National Championship in Atlanta week after that. So we are 2 steps away from defending our national championship. So I said, let me come in, hang out with my peoples today, and then hopefully next week I'll be happy. So if I'm happy, I'll see y'all in 3 weeks. If I'm not happy, I'll see y'all in 2 weeks. But I'm glad to be here with y'all today.
All right.
Right on, man. Good to see you. Welcome
Y'all
back.
too, man. And by the way, y'all did a wonderful job last week, man. It was excellent. Y'all always do a great job, but I usually send y'all an email. I just want y'all to know y'all brightens up my day. When I get home from the game, the first thing I want to do is watch y'all and debrief, and I appreciate it.
Aw,
So shout out to Ted. Ted was there too.
All right. So Karan's hubby picked up matching box sets. 1 for me, 2 for me.
Salute to the hubby. Yeah, that's how you do it, player.
That's right.
Put your hand off my records. You have
you know what that sound like? That sound like Karan husband suffer from what I suffer from. Hey, brother Dean, you go and get something to eat? Baby, I'm gonna pick something up. You want something to eat? Nah, right. I'm good. If you get home,
right. Let me get some of your fries.
There you go. Karan just picking it, eating everything out his plate. He said, no.
Right.
Let me
have some of your shake.
Let me have some of your shake.
Those actually trigger words. I'm kind of.
Oh my God. All right. So I saw something I wanted to put on here. Oh, is it Galen or Gollin? Is it? I don't know.
We're gonna say Gollin.
Gollin. Uh-oh. Here we go.
So, shout out to Gollin.
Yes.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
What's happening? What's up? Look at you, boy.
Yes, what's up, pretty Ricky?
Well, look at you. Boy, you look like new money. Look at you, boy.
Yeah, looking good, man. Looking good.
Thank you, man. I can't talk too long, but I wanted to come on here and say what's up. Let y'all know I got discharged.
Nice.
Yeah, right on.
So I'm broadcasting live from home. So thanks to everybody.
Good to hear.
You know, for your prayers and well wishes.
Yeah. So you back home, man. Well, happy holidays. You have a good Thanksgiving?
Yeah, it was cool, man. You know, it was cool. I look like Q from Juice.
You got the juice now, Playboy.
Don't be around the high school locker around Ricky. Don't be around the high school locker. That's still the scariest scene I have ever seen in my life. I'm gonna close that locker in 2 months.
What's happening?
Oh man, how y'all been?
We're great now that you're back home. We're so happy to see you back home.
Thank you. Hey, look, I see the chat, everybody. Thank y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are talking about box sets for album day.
Yes, Record Store Day.
Oh, Record Store Day. Oh yeah, that's right. It is Record Store Day. Okay.
So I love this, Theo. So I wish they would do this at all the stores. So Theo says, I love a record store owner because 30 minutes before they open, he goes down the line and asks what people are there for and checks if they will have once they get into the store. Now that's
where did you say this was at again, Theo? I missed that. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, where, Theo, in Seattle did you go? What record store did you go to? So we'll see. Theo, we are talking to you. What record store did you go to?
Ricky, did you get to hear the Around the World in a Day remaster?
Oh yeah. You know what, man? Say when I got discharged, that was a gift waiting for me when I got home. So
nice.
It was quite pleasing. I was you know, I just dug into it. You know what more can I say? I was happy that I got it. You know, it was everything that I thought it was gonna be. You know, in terms of what they said that, man, we were getting. Of course, you know, we always want more.
Of course.
You know, to squeeze out from that era, but it was cool, man. I mean, I did get it. I like the cover art. You know, like how I don't know they made it kind of glossy looking or something like that on the cover.
Yeah, it's like a foil. It's like a foil like they did Purple Rain. Yeah.
So I was happy with that. I wish the CD would have had the kid with the balloon, or that would have been a sticker or something that came with it.
Yes.
You know, like that would have been cool if they would have had a patch. You know, make it like a patch or something.
You know, it's little things like that. I'm hearing a lot of people mention this. I think that's the difference between, you know, us, you know, the real fans of this versus, I think that's the one thing that may be like missing from the estate. And I'm not saying in a bad way, but it's like you would want them to have somebody on their team that would understand,
the sticker is important.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's little stuff like that that makes a big difference.
Yeah, it was cool. You know, I you know, I like how they separated the B-sides. How like on the B-side disc, it played first what the single was and then what the B-side was. You know, like on the second disc, it plays it plays Raspberry Beret, and then it goes into both versions of She's Always in My Hair. And then same thing for Hello and Pop Life. It played Pop Life first, and then it has the Hello versions after that. So I thought that was cool. You know, I'm pleased with it. What y'all think?
So, Ricky, we were talking about the singles box set that was released for Record Store Day, which is this. And
wow.
And the boy is on the box, but it's not a transparent sticker like I was hoping it would be, like the original. Because whereas Chris Bournet said, like, I had that sticker on my Trapper Keeper in 8th grade. Like, the sticker is important. And then somebody else had mentioned, Vanessa had mentioned this guy on it.
I saw that
on YouTube.
Oh, it was kind of nitpicky to me, but
it was the new Prince CD is so dumb, and I was getting ready to get mad when I watched this, but then I was like, okay, you got a point, because he was talking about where's the sticker with the little boy.
No.
He was complaining about how it doesn't fold flat like the CD version. Now, I love that they put the flap on the CD version.
Yeah.
Because I always loved the flap from the original. I thought that was really cool. But a lot of people in the comments commented that the original flap was perforated. Remember, it was perforated so you could tear it off if you wanted to.
Yeah.
I never tore mine off. I still have mine on my original, and I love the flap. But however and another thing that the guy said is that there are 2 CDs in the booklet, but, you know, it's a cardboard sleeve. You know, sometimes when you're taking CDs out of cardboard sleeves, you might scratch it, but they said it was okay. But he was saying that there were some Stones release that has a 3-panel digipack where you could have the CD in one, you know, in each slot, and then the booklet in its own slot. But for me, you wouldn't be able to replicate the flap. So I love that they replicated the flap. Personally, I wish it did. I wish it would come in like little sleeves. I don't like when, kind of like how the vinyl, and since you're here, Ricky, I don't think you saw it. So I'm going to pull it out one more time, because I personally think that the raspberry vinyl is so purty. This is my favorite. I haven't gotten any.
Did you say purdy? Did you say purdy?
You did.
Purdy. That's right. Look at it. Look at how pretty that is.
Oh man.
That's like a beauty.
Yeah. Matches the hat.
Have you actually played any of these?
No, because my turntables are back at.
Oh, that's right. You're not.
Yeah, I'm not there, but I am going to when I get back for sure. Yeah, see, TP understand. He had a lot of good points about the packaging. What I didn't like about it was that he started off the video by saying that Around the Rolling Day wasn't one of his favorite albums. And I was like, well, why do you buy the remaster if it wasn't one of your favorite? I don't understand. So anyway, yeah. So it was an interesting review.
Okay.
So did y'all talk about the video yet?
No.
Okay. What video?
Pop Life.
No.
Oh, there's a video for it?
Yeah.
See, Leah, is your mic on? You sound kind of
let me see. Hold on.
Is this like a music video?
It's like animated effects, and then there's some live footage.
How is that? Is that better?
I think so. How does it sound for you guys?
Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds pretty good to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the reason I wanted to discuss both, because I decided once I saw what all we would get, I'm going to get the re-release. I just decided I'm going to get it after Christmas. But the video made something really crystal clear for me. And I wanted to say two things about the video. One, I think they did a really good job with the video in that they stayed true to the era, right? That like when I saw that video, it seemed like, and again, I'm making a leap here, but it was like, okay, if I wanted to show Prince in that era, what was happening in that era, that's what that video does. Like the video doesn't attempt to take Prince and the song out of that era into something else. The video tries to be as true to that era as possible, to say, here was Prince in all his glory at this moment. And so I really like that about the video. And so then that made something crystal clear to me, was that having to understand that these re-releases have to kind of do two things, right? They have to satisfy those of us who want these things while simultaneously introducing Prince to a new generation. And that's what I think I like most about that video, is that if I were to say to somebody, this was Prince in 85, this was Prince in his glory, then I think they did a really good job with that video, and really kind of, for me, making it make sense of how, when the estate is doing these things, it's we gotta make old ass crockety mean ass C. Lee happy, while at the same time bringing these new folks in. So I just really wanted to say that about it, because when I looked at the video, I was just really like, wow, yeah, this is what would have went down in 85. This is what of, how you would have, seen him and seen what they were showing. So yeah, so I just wanted to say that I was pleasantly pleased with the video and the packaging, despite the fact that we may have some little disappointments here and there. I just think they were really right on with using that video as a way to promote the album. I'll shut up. Or the re-release.
So
Mike?
I didn't know anything about the video until just now. So I'll have to
Yeah,
look
me
at it
neither.
afterwards.
Mike, what you got to say about it?
I thought it was cool. I love the clips of Prince performing. I think it was, somebody said it was from the 86 First Avenue show. Personally, they could have just played that and I would have still been happy. But I get it. To me, it's nothing bad about the video. To me, it's something I'll watch maybe once, maybe twice. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's cool, sort of animated effects to the cover. Something kind of like if you ever have Apple Music and if you go to the page of the album, it's animated kind of like that. That's what it kind of reminded me of. There's a scene, I think Theo mentioned it, where I call it Around the World in a Day Cheeks. You got a sister with the a cat suit of the Around the World in a Day, trying to do a little something back, So I was like, okay, that was cool. But no, it was cool. You know what I'm saying? I like the colors of it. I agree with Celie. It definitely uses a lot of the imagery and artwork from that time. Like I said, sitting on a treasure trove of Volt material, concert that apparently they've upscaled to 4K. For me personally, I would have been like, just put that out, and I'd have been, I would just want to see Prince, for me personally. But I think it is a cool promo type of thing. I think it works on an online capacity where if somebody was scrolling and saw that, it would be like, oh, it would catch your eye. You want to take a look at it. So it was cool. But it's a great song. So that at the end of the day, that's what's dope about it.
Okay, so like when you say, I guess when y'all say like rehearsal of the First Avenue show, is that playing intertwined the artwork, or is it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. They pull that, but they don't. They sort of match the audio of the song with what he's doing in the performance too. So they're not using the performance audio. It's from my perspective though. I'm like, why they got Christopher Tracy up there for this? But I understand what's going on.
Yeah. And I was like you, like it also brings to mind that, you know, and maybe they'll do it with a box set with Parade or whatever, that upscale First Avenue show, right? Or could we have gotten, was there some kind of live thing we could have gotten with the Around the World in a Day release thing? Could we've gotten, because I think they've been almost pretty consistent with a live show with most of the box sets, if I'm not mistaken, and we tended
That is
to
correct.
get a live show. So I would thought about that. Maybe we could have got, even if it was a birthday show from '85 or something that we could have gotten with this. And so I was like you, when I saw the footage, I was happy. I was also trying to, this is just be not that being nitpicky, but I was kind of like Brother Dean, I was kind of like, how off is his mouth from? Because like you say, it's the audio, right, but it's him singing the song live. So I was kind of like leaning into the video, like, how off is it actually? But but like you say, and I think I've said this before, I like the fact that it's been scaled up, and I know I've been told that it's better now, but that was one of the few boots that I didn't like initially, just because if we remember when it first came out, it was such a bad quality. So it was so diff. So you got like this really long bootleg, like, it's 2-something hours. Like, oh crap, it's hard to watch. But so anyway.
Yeah, shout out to I can't think of my man's full name is Barron or something on Twitter. Y'all may know who I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I know you're talking about. Has the video footage of the live performance of that song that they're using, just a different camera angles, which is online too. So I was like, okay, I'll watch this, you know what I'm saying? Because I want to just see that performance. So it's out there if you really want to see that type of stuff as well.
Well,
I guess I will complain for one. You would just imagine that, again, if you got all this material, I say put that video out. That's cool. But at the same point, what would hurt to just put the video of the actual performance? Like that would be the ultimate promo, at least to a guy like me. Like, okay. So I don't know why they can't do both, but I get it. But at this point, I understand.
And I wonder if their thinking is, because aren't they showing that concert at Paisley?
I think they did when the record release. They showed it.
Last Friday,
I guess the celebration.
So maybe they're thinking. I don't know if this would be a good idea. I'm just thinking maybe they're thinking it'd be a draw to get people, and maybe they're thinking that, hey, come to Paisley, you can get this live stuff. And I'm thinking, is that worth the draw versus, because I do think that there's money to put these things out that people would stream. But then because I'm also thinking, and maybe y'all can tell me I'm just dreaming too much. I'm thinking about all these people that got their stations and their channels. I wonder would somebody pay $4.99 a month for a Prince live streaming channel?
Like $4.99 a month?
Yeah,
$4.99. I would.
Maybe even $9.99 a month for a Prince streaming channel where you got all these things you could just go and just decide. Because I'm a Bob Ross guy. Some people may not know Bob Ross is, and Bob Ross got his own damn TV station. Like
I do.
Bob Ross got his own TV channel, and I'm thinking if Bob Ross got a TV, and it's no knock to Bob Ross because I grew up on Bob Ross, by the way. So I don't want people thinking this or not. But if Bob Ross got his own TV channel, I'm thinking that folks would pay somewhere from $4.99 to $9.99 a month for their own.
Yeah, easily. People would pay that easily.
I mean, they could just set up a Patreon page at the end of the day. I mean, non-celebrities making millions doing that, so I can only imagine what they would be doing.
Yeah. Like they would make a killing on that easily paying for that. Okay, yeah, I have to check that video out. I had no clue.
What did you say about the why they can? Well,
I mean, when Doug's crying,
I would imagine to probably the general public, imagery from Purple Rain is so identifiable to them. That'd be the one thing that they do know. Like, oh, this is
right.
I get it.
Yeah, man, they would get it together. That's stuff.
I love this one, Blade Brown. Instead of Patreon, it's Paisley on.
How about only Paisley?
There you go.
Right.
Yes. All right.
The early Prince pictures and videos beyond there.
Yeah, he tried to. I think I remember hearing stories like back in the day that he was trying to start a PRN TV, a Prince Rogers Nelson television channel, where he just showed all his stuff and his protege stuff. And this was like back in like the middle 80s that he was trying to do this. So he was kind of kind of ahead of the game with that. It'd be great if they can make that come into fruition. But I think it again, it would definitely be a seller.
But thanks, EA. And I'll just say quickly, no, I'm not. And if you email me, I actually wrote an article about why I'm not a fan of his. But thank you. I'm glad you like the 20 Black Writers Who Changed America. I thought that was a pretty cool video too. But yeah, if you email me, I actually wrote a paper about that, why I'm not. Anyway, I don't want to digress us away.
All right, no worries. And then so there's a question from Andre. Would you guys say that this was Prince's most artistic and heavily thought out album cover?
Oh, cover. Let me scroll through my mind while y'all think.
I would say 1999 for me, because there's just so much there.
Yeah. I will say that as someone who was raised reading and being in love with Parliament Funkadelic album covers, that 1999 and Around the World in a Day put me in that Parliament Funkadelic space of looking at the albums and looking for small things. So I agree. I would say a combination of 1999 and Around the World in a Day. I'm just trying to make sure I'm not missing anything. I don't have a problem with someone saying Rainbow Children. I think Rainbow Children with the artwork is pretty cool as well. So yeah, I don't have a problem with the Rainbow Children one at all. I think that one will work too. And I actually think that we may sleep on, if you open the inside of Parade, I think we even sleep on Parade, because when we think about Parade, we think about the outside. But I spent hours on the inside of Parade. Like and not just the inside, but the sleeves that the album was in. So I think that we should. I think that Parade, the inside of the album, should also get a nod as well. So yeah, I would say those. And we probably think about some others.
Go ahead, Ricky.
No. Ladies first. Go ahead, please, by all means.
No, I was gonna get you to do a Dear State moment, but go ahead with what you want to say.
Okay, well, I'll do it after this. I think Rainbow Children is my favorite, but I would have to agree in terms of art. This probably was his most one of his most like artistic covers. I agree with 1999 too, but I think this it kind of goes back to what something I think he told Morris one time. I think once, like, who wants to look at another picture of you or a full band on the cover or something like that or whatever. He wanted something different. So, and this was the first time, this was the second time outside of 1999 that he wasn't on the cover of one of his albums. Mm-hmm. And so, and then you have this album, you have Parade, Prince on the front, you have Sign of the Times, a glossy Prince on the front. You have a Love Sexy, definitely Prince on the front.
But
no, go ahead.
But you know what? Now that I think about it, as I think I would, and I don't want to use the word caution. I think that we have to also make room that subtlety can be just as conceptual, because when you think, first and foremost, I think the Controversy album with the newspapers, and with the headlines in the newspapers, I think that Controversy album is probably as conceptual as all the other albums, simply because the album cover does its job, right? And then we learn later that the reason Prince recorded so fast, because he looked at his albums like newspapers, right? He wanted to get the news out today. And so I don't think, if you're saying, is the artwork, does the artwork articulate the meaning of the actual music, then I think you'd have to put the Controversial album up there. Then when you think about the second album, the boy's on a Pegasus. I mean, I don't know what you want.
Yeah.
The man
Hey.
is sick. And if you had that album in real time, I was 9 years old, and his naked butt was on a Pegasus.
He was on. Yeah, hey, you know what? I thought he was the coolest dude ever. I said, man, when the Prince is riding Pegasus, I was like, I don't care what the music sounds like, he's riding Pegasus.
But now, if I'm not mistaken, but he was naked though.
Yeah,
he was naked.
That should have told us everything we needed to know.
Look, I didn't even know what Pegasus was. I was running around saying wanged horse. That's what I was saying. That boy on a wanged horse. My father had to say, "Hey, boy, it's Pegasus, boy. Stop embarrassing the family." Pegasus. I just knew wanged horse. So I think when you look at like, I think Prince was always thinking about how the cover, and I think that's what streaming has done. Streaming has the cover art. You don't get, and we have to keep in mind there was no internet, and Prince is actually technically before video. Right, so Prince is one of those artists where he was a radio artist. The album cover actually made an artistic statement. So I would say, even if you're talking about those first 3 or 4, I mean, and that Dirty Mind cover, say what you want about that Dirty Mind cover. That Dirty Mind cover let you know what this project was, right? You got the inner sleeve with the band on it, and you knew this was some funk, new wave, in your face, raunch guitar. Like, so I think that I think the more I think about it, yes, 1999, Around the World in a Day, Rainbow Children, they may be more elaborate, but I think that I would definitely say album 1 through maybe Exodus. Yeah, I would say album 1 all the way maybe through Exodus. Prince was really giving us covers that effectively articulated what the music was, and I think each of us then could just choose what our favorite one would be, if that makes sense. I'll shut up.
All right, D'Angelo, what you got for me?
So before we started, the one last thing I want to say, what was special for me about the Around the World in a Day cover was that it was a gatefold. Yes. And I was used to the gatefolds with the Ohio Players in particular. And we're going to be talking about Touch Me, Hold Me from Sheila E's third album. And one of the things that irked me about that album was that it was not a gatefold. You could flip it and see all of Sheila, but it should have been like a gatefold.
Why that album not a gate? Okay, I never knew that.
No, it's not a gatefold. You have to flip it. So it should have been like a true gatefold.
It was a cheap substitute for a gatefold. They thought they were slick.
Yes.
Wow, I mean, he gave the family one and didn't give her one. Man, that's okay.
But I didn't even think about that. Yeah, the family got a gatefold too. Huh.
Maybe Sheila didn't want that. It was like, it's gonna cut into my money or something.
There you go.
and if you read the book, apparently the money was an issue.
Yeah, it definitely was an issue. Okay, here you go, Ricky. Someone wants a Dear Estate for Parade box set with Zenith or Detroit show.
Oh, for the Parade set. Okay.
Add New Morning Paris.
Add New Morning the Paris.
Team.
Okay, how about this? Dear Estate. First of all, man, I mean, congrats on what you're doing with the Around the World in a Day rollout. We getting positive response. Everyone loves the imaging of the CD, the packaging, the remastering. You guys are doing something great here. But on the horizon, we know what's next. And a lot is riding on what you do next. And man, we pulling for y'all. You got plenty of shows to choose from, Dear Estate. You can set the precedent and do a double live release with these live shows. You can do is it La Zenith?
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's okay. Right.
Yes, you could do the La Zenith show. You know, some people want the Detroit show. Some people may be tired of that, but you could do that. You got a lot to choose from with Parade. Some of us are like rehearsal audio buffs like me and, D'Angelo and, some others here, where we just love the audio of, rehearsing and the working of what's to come. So, dear state, take your time. You can reach out to us for help. You know what I'm saying? You can reach out to fans and say, hey, take a poll. What would y'all like to see? And
Ooh,
let us
I
know.
love that. Yeah, take a poll. That's right, Ricky. All right, so we have another esteemed guest about to join us. Yes, there's more. This is like the Thanksgiving issue episode.
On your left.
Come on in. You're on mute.
Ted.
What up, Ted?
Hold on, man. As you can see, I ain't camera ready today. However, I logged in to get me some joy from y'all. I seen Pretty Ricky and Sheila on here. I was like, I gotta come in here real quick. Brother Dean.
Yes, sir.
I got it.
Uh-oh. It's in his hand.
I haven't had a chance to like really get into it. But D'Angela, I gotta disagree. I ain't feeling this little flap thing. This is good for a record. This is driving me absolutely nuts.
Hilarious.
I'll shut up.
Have you listened? You said you'd have listened to some of it, or
I have, and on Pop Life, like we were talking about last week. I feel like that ping pong delay is a little bit more pronounced. Oh yeah, we're off of Arms of Orion again. We're off of Arms of Orion.
Wow, you shifted.
Oh my God.
I turned already.
I knew you were under a spell, Ted. I knew that wasn't gonna last.
Yeah, that spell is broke.
Hilarious.
That spell is broke.
Boy, that didn't last long.
But we talk about that on the phone, Ricky.
The code switch was heavy, boy. He was, your arms are right. Yeah.
All right, Ted. So, like for me, I did listen to the Atmos, Michael Dean, like you told me to last week.
Yes.
And I don't know about you, but does anyone have an issue with tambourine? That shaker is mad high. I had to go back. I was like, this does not sound like tambourine. I was like, what's wrong with it? So I listened to the original, and the shaker is up too high in the mix.
It is very prominent.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's one of the things with Atmos, especially if you've heard the song a certain way and we've lived with that. It can be it'll be jarring to hear it sometimes with these added things, or just things like you said brought up that you didn't really hear like that before, so prominent. But some of the songs I think is immediate, this is great, and some of them are a little challenging, like I don't know if I like that choice, but I think that's what makes it interesting personally.
Oh, I just wanted to add to just a side note to Brother Rick's dear state, is that I don't think a lot of people have seen the complete Detroit show.
Yeah.
I would say if you're going to do the Detroit show, because I don't think a lot of people have seen the complete Detroit show, either with Soft and Wet. Because if you look at it, because it's always broken down to like just a 59-minute or 60, because they were doing it for the Japanese TV. So I would say if you're going to give us the Detroit show, give us the whole Detroit show with the whole set list, and then that would make it famous. And then again, I'm one of those new morning Paris, because I think that's the most beautiful and maybe the only version of Honest Man that Prince did live. And I just love that version. All I got now is that crappy version of Honest Man, because I got the crappy version of the New Morning Show. So I want to hear that wonderful version of Honest Man in a clear, pristine way. I'll shut up.
All right. So I must say, though, the drums on the Atmos version of Tambourine, they are bumping. Yeah. It sounds so amazing. So if you haven't had an opportunity to listen to the Atmos version, definitely check it out. And there was something else, but I can't remember what it was. But the tambourine was the one that, I know what it was. Temptation. Oh my God. You gotta listen to Temptation on Atmos. It's just like my heart started pounding. I was like, oh my God, this is so incredible. So great job, Chris James, on that Atmos, just to turn those shakers down on the tambourine.
Yeah, I could definitely hear the blues influence on not on tambourine, but on Temptation more now than I could in the I know like years ago, shout out to you, Sheila E. I thought about you say when I first heard that. I was like, yeah, it is a blues song. Just,
Yeah, man. It's
a
like
little bit more
blues
distortion.
with hard rock, with soul. It's everything Prince does, but it's just, yeah, it's aggressive as hell, man. I never really picked up on that part of it before. Now it's just like, yeah, listening to it now, I'm like, wow, this sounds like a marvel. I don't think I heard it back then like this. It sounded kind of
Yeah.
teeny to me or something. Now it makes me wonder, like, is this how he heard it when he plays it? Because it just came off totally different. Now I'm like, yo, this would have blew my mind if I'd heard it like this back then. It has a certain space to it, almost a little warmness to it. And then when the kicks have bottom now, that you can kind of at least feel a little bit of the kick, that you couldn't before.
Wait,
and then
Ricky,
just the guitar is just rare.
Ricky, you didn't think about it? You didn't think of Temptations as a blues tune before?
Not growing up, I didn't. I thought his guitar work was phenomenal, because that was, I was all about, like checking for his guitar solos and stuff back then. I just didn't, now, like when I know when I bought it, when I got it the other day and I got a chance to dig into it, I could hear the blues like influence on it more prevalent than I could before.
Word, I got you.
And that may be because my ears have, more have I say matured more, but I could definitely hear it. And I account some of that to what Sheila said, because even with Do You Lie, I wasn't the biggest fan of Do You Lie on my off say parade and listening to man what Prince was doing, but I could hear it more prevalent, like with him singing and and playing and stuff. And I was like, okay, I hear it. I hear the influence now. So
you said you made a good point about the ears being a little more mature. I think for me that's another thing. I can hear it differently now because I've heard so much other music over the years. I've heard all of Prince's stuff to a degree. I can really appreciate this now in a way that I couldn't before, and hear it slightly different, right? I've heard more stuff, so my vocabulary sonically is totally different than it was when I was 16 or 17 when I heard this originally.
Yeah. And I think it's also, I think it's definitely that, and I think it's also like how we come into music. My first two live shows, my very first live concert at 6 years old was BB King, and then my second live show at 10 was Prince. And so to have BB King as my first live show and to see BB King every year of my life from 6 to 16. So I saw BB King once a year from 6 to 16 at the BB King homecoming concert. And so to have that and to always have Jimi Hendrix for me couched into a blues aesthetic. Like for me, Jimi Hendrix was always, and I want to say this properly because you say things I know y'all want to take it out of context. If you see Jimi Hendrix live, he was always trying to be Buddy Guy. And when I say trying to be Buddy Guy, you could see the Buddy Guy influence on Jimi Hendrix. That's what I mean, right? And so I think that's why the first time I heard Around the World in the Day and the first time I heard Temptation, like I love the album, but when I heard Temptation, I got up and ran around the damn house. Like I literally just got up and ran around the house because it was like, oh, it was like your favorite musician is playing the musicians you grew up on, right? Your favorite, So for me, like Prince was BB King and Jimi Hendrix. But so I think for me it was like if you kind of grew up in that and you heard that and you knew that, like Jimi Hendrix always called himself a blues man. Like he never called himself other than a blues man. And that's why for me, and I know I'm not trying to be controversial when I say this, that's the first time Prince sounds like Jimi Hendrix. So the first time that Prince sounds like Jimi Hendrix on record, because Bambi is too fast. Like if you listen to how Jimmy played, Jimmy never really played as fast as Bambi is. And so when you talk about Prince's guitar and his growth and his evolution, the first time that Prince really is sounding like Jimi Hendrix he's sounding in a blues aesthetic. I'll shut up.
I think you're spot on with that. Spot on with that, Sheila E.
So one thing I want to say, Ted, is when I first heard Around the Rolling Day as a 14-year-old, you have to remember I'm 14 years old, my ears are not matured. First of all, Temptation, I hated that song because it was blues.
Right.
And I thought Prince should be doing Prince stuff. It's like, save that for the live concerts. We want a real Prince. I call it a real Prince song.
Right.
Like a real Prince. Like, where's my real Prince song? Why are you doing this blues?
Hey, Brother D. What's this old man shit? Why you doing this old man shit? All right, go ahead.
I totally said that. That's what it said at 14 years old. But now that I'm old, I was like, oh, this song is amazing. But at 14 years old, and the same, I'm going to be honest with you, with the ladder, I thought that was as slow as molasses. I was like, what is... It was like a dirge, like a funeral dirge. I was like, this is slow, darn slow. It's so slow, so slow. But now
why are you doing my grandmama songs?
Yes.
And that's the first time it sounds like a real gospel influence to me. That's the first time we hear that on that tune.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I guess I was gonna ask, like, did it come natural to him, y'all thought, doing that one? Or did it seem pushed or forced?
No, for me, it felt natural simply because, again, I guess it's how we hear things. For me, the entryway to that, and I don't know why, other than just sonically, I could hear the gospel in Another Lonely Christmas, particularly the long version. And so hearing the gospel, the kind of dirge-like thing, the kind of moaning, right? And if you were, and again, I'm gonna mess this up because I can't sing, but if you were raised on the whole hymnal, I love the Lord, he heard my cry. I love the Lord, right? That whole thing, I could hear that in Another Lonely Christmas. So when I heard the latter, it made sense. But I also, and some of y'all remember we had this on the thread, we had the discussion about what is a power ballad, right? And so I often think that part of the power ballad is stealing from gospel, stealing from the blues in a way. So in a sense, I could kind of, because when Prince says in Purple Rain, raise your hand if you know what you're singing about, that's a gospel move, right? That's a R&B thing. That's what R&B took from gospel, right? That's this right here, right? This right here is old Black people in the church. And so I think for me, all of that connected. So by the time we get to the latter, there was enough laid there that it sounded natural for me. I'll set up.
One other thing I wanted to say was when I was listening to Temptation, I actually thought of you, Sheila E. And what I mean when I say listen to the Atmos version, because it is really powerful if you haven't heard that version. And I was just like reveling in the amazingness of Eddie M. And I know, and I think that Eric Leeds could not have done what Eddie Young did for Temptation. I will say that.
And I think that speaks, and you know what? I think that speaks to Prince's genius. And I've said this before. I think one of the aspects of Prince's genius that doesn't get discussed enough is that rather than, like, I don't have a favorite Prince musician or a favorite Prince band. I revel in the fact that Prince was always able to choose the best musicians for the sound he had in his mind at that moment. And the fact that, like you said, he had Eric Leeds at his disposal. He could have called Eric Leeds to his disposal, but he went got Eddie M. And I think that Prince was always genius in knowing which musician, who could give him exactly what he wanted at that moment. So I'm glad you make that point about choosing Eddie M. To me, that's another Prince genius of who can give me exactly what I need to make this thing in my head, right, a reality. That's it.
All right. We are welcoming, this is like a packed house today. We have the wonderful, the one and only Chris Aguilar Garcia.
Yeah.
What's up, Chris?
Look at Chris. And Chris is prepared, got their Purple Rain shirt on because And I love it says pre-Broadway performance, because that is what Chris is here for, to talk about their Purple Rain musical experience. So break it down for us.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Okay, before you get started, I gotta run because I got gotta stay on my schedule with things. But man, it's been great seeing y'all, hearing y'all voice again, catching up. Everybody in the chat, y'all know what the love is. You know, I'll be back as I get better. I'll be back more frequently. But it was great being it was great being here, man, with y'all today. Like, I'm gonna keep listening. I might jump in the chat, say a few things, but it was great being here. Thank you.
Love you,
Thanks, man. Good to see you, man.
Hey, man, thank you. Okay, see y'all later.
Bye, Ricky.
Yep, see you next week.
All right, Chris.
Yeah.
Talk to us.
All right. Well, first, I just want to say I came in I just heard a little bit right as I was coming in, and just to what you were saying, Celie, it just immediately reminded me of the Chris Rock interview when Chris Rock was asking Prince, like, who do you want? And he kind of names things. He's like, no, it's the band I got right now. It's the band I got right now. So that just is immediately what I thought from what you shared. So Purple Rain musical. All right. Yeah. I did a whole big Minneapolis birthday extravaganza weekend with
happy belated birthday.
And to you as well.
Thank you.
Yes. So yes, I did the musical on Sunday night, and then the Paisley Park tour on Monday. And it was my husband's first time in Minneapolis. And he got to see those sites for the first time, got to experience the musical, which was interesting too, because he's only seen the movie once.
Oh, wow.
So it was really interesting to see it through, to hear his takes as well.
Quick question before you get into it.
Yeah. Is
your husband a Prince fan?
He is like I would say no, not, he's not really into music. He's definitely, his knowledge of Prince and really of pop music is pretty much through the filter of me. So that, and he's also, I just turned 55. He's about my age. So kind of did still, grow up within that same kind of musical timeline and atmosphere. But let's see, where to start. So a musical. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun. I definitely was someone who, from the announcement of it was excited about that. I'm not a big musical person, but I just thought the idea of a musical just within, where that would place Prince in, the audiences that would put him and the catalog in front of, I really liked that idea and was excited about it. Obviously knowing too that you can't do a musical with just 9 songs. It was also really interesting to then see how they did incorporate the music in. I thought in terms of the performance of the music, I thought that definitely was a high point, and I definitely would credit Morris and Bobby for the way that they did that. It was clear, obviously that part was people with deep knowledge of the catalog, and the way they found those kind of narrative threads that made sense for the characters who were doing the things that they were doing. And I thought the cast was very strong, very solid. And I tried to avoid spoilers before going in, but I also just couldn't resist. So I knew some of the main plot points. Let's see, I'm trying to think of where to go. So I'll do the kind of just general review first. So as I said, I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I thought the performances were solid. I think translating any property is difficult. Translating a property that is so closely tied to the identity of a character who's actually a living person, who we have, even whether you're a casual fan or not, just have such a strong relationship with the appearance of Prince and the presentation of Prince and the performance of Prince, that it is just that's a piece that you can't separate from the character. You can't just say it's the kid and then say, well, it's not Prince, they're playing the kid. Like it's, if you're trying to then emulate the same performances that were done in, his most iconic period in terms of mass culture consumption, like it really is, it's Prince. You can't watch that and not think Prince, with a person wearing things, that are suggestive of Prince in that era. And that too, I think because then it's so closely tied, it makes it even that much more complicated to really be able to have the suspension of disbelief, because you're just kind of reminded that this is not Prince, and it makes it really feel then like an imitation when it's like, it's almost Prince, but not quite. It's trying to, evoke some of the same, the mannerisms, the eye movement, the dance moves, like things that make Prince Prince that can't be replicated by another person in a way that isn't like, makes it feel a little bit like a spoof or a parody. And that's really hard to do when that's your main character who you want people to really connect with. So I guess I have kind of already gone more into the criticism part from the overall review. But that, yeah, as much as it was fun, I think it was, as a show, a lot of flaws, both just in terms of being able to translate a property, and then also as a fan, just some of the liberties that were taken. When Doves Cry was used in a similar way, I did just see that one pop up in the same point in the story as really the kind of transition piece for the kid when he's going through transformation. And that's a good question at this point, because I think that is one of the flaws is in trying to translate Prince. And actually, this is kind of the whole musical, where a traditional musical, your narrative is in the songs. Because you don't have your narrative in the songs, you have to give the narrative to the characters. And it ends up that there's just a lot of speeches where it's all text, it's not subtext. So that too just feels like when characters are speaking, they're really hitting you over the head with what it is they're trying to convey. And what they're trying to convey, it really, I think my biggest criticism was that it felt like the most important piece to the creators seemed to be to rectify any of the issues that they saw in translating the property. And yes, we can address them, but I think they were so heavily invested in that it became a story that is a very admirable story, but it's not the story of Purple Rain, and it's not an entertaining story to present that way, and to give basically Wendy, the father, and the kid kind of these bigger chunks of dialogue that were not entertaining. They were very preachy. And in giving the kid so much dialogue, it made him really hard to like. I mean, it took the elements that in the movie, you're like, this is the journey, and we're coming with this kid who's growing up and learning how to improve his relationships, how to do this. In the show, I didn't feel the journey. I didn't feel the connection, which then also just left the ending really flat. Like, it didn't feel like a big dramatic moment when the band came together to do Purple Rain. A lot of, just the interpersonal relations, the kid and Apollonia, where I think in the early part, they did a good job of making that a more real relationship. Then it gets really tight. There's this big explosion, and then there's no resolution. Like, Apollonia is just gone. And I think this, in terms of the workshop and the way it was happening, in the show that I saw, Apollonia was back on stage for the Baby I'm a Star, or I Would Die for You and Baby I'm a Star closing. Some friends of mine who saw it said they did not remember her coming back. So it really was, she was gone. And it was just, we saw like a video recording of her on a like audition for a dating show. So that another criticism of the show, there was what I thought was an interesting and kind of creative use of video, but then it just was relied on way too heavily in the second act, where, so here's what they did with the video. There were some points where it was flashback. The first time it was introduced, it was flashback to a scene that looked almost verbatim, like they were recreating it from the movie. It was, you know, kind of that scene in the movie when the kid runs in the house to break up his dad from hitting his mom. It was basically kind of recreating that in video just as like a memory. So you have flashback. Then you have in the second act when the kid is kind of in this dark place listening to phone messages. So he's listening to the voice messages, just sitting on the floor for a really extended period of time to, I think, you know, kind of to illustrate his isolation and loneliness, while these video clips are, you know, we're seeing the person leaving the message. So it's also that you have this really big recorded element to give us this narrative about what's happening, of like, wow, you know, that performance, it really struck a nerve. You're doing this, you're doing that. Like, where have you been? No one's heard from you. Like, you know, from all these different voices. It's the only time we see the mother is in a recorded voicemail message. And okay, so we have the flashback, the phone messages, then we have the recorded show, which is basically, you know, from the big narrative piece in the musical is that some Hollywood producers are coming to Minneapolis, or to this place, to First, the club, to record a television show. And so that's actually the thing that all the bands are vying for, is to get a piece in the television show. So then they did, I thought that was maybe the most effective part, was the recording of the show. So it was as if you're watching it on TV, on, like, you have the stage where the action's happening, and then a big screen above that where you're seeing it as if you were watching that broadcast on TV. So then you have that element. Then you have afterwards, the entire resolution of Apollonia's character is her auditioning for a dating show in LA. So that too. So you do have that kind of piece of Apollonia being the main character, and then leaving, like, she just, you know, which narratively makes sense for what they've done with that character, but just
was there a Chuck Woolery character?
It was the and I'm confusing, but no, that for the dating piece, no, it was just an off-screen voice, so we didn't see who the host of the dating show was.
Be tricky or something like that.
Yeah. But the MC of the recorded, the audition for not the audition for, like, the TV show, was it, I think it was Billy, the Billy character. But yeah, just kind of a little hard over the head. Some of the things like that that Miles mentioned last week, kind of bringing it together as like an all girl group of 6. You know, interesting narratively. It just also, though, felt just kind of a little too loose for the fact that these are, you know, movie characters, but they're also real people. So to then, you know, I mean, that was, for me as a huge, you know, like, Wendy and Lisa stan, that was, you know, the first big spoiler when I was like, Wendy and Lisa join Apollonia 6? What? Like, you know, and then in the actual show, the way they do it, it kind of, it makes a little bit of sense. It does. I can see where it, you know, again, from a narrative point, it makes sense of Wendy coming in and saying, we're going to take over the band from Morris. We need to be like liberated women. We're all musicians. Let's play our music. Like, it makes sense, but it's such a big departure from both the property that we're there to see, and then just feels really dismissive of who those actual people are. The naming conventions too, I know that's been named, but that also I thought was really annoying, of, you know, that this woman shows up and we don't know who she is, and she needs to get a job at the at First, so then they're like, oh, well, we have 2 name tags. Do you want to be Sheila or do you want to be Sheena? And then she's like, well, my stage name is Apollonia, but my real name is Nicole, but don't call me Nikki. Like, it was, just trying to weave so much in that, again, whether, if it was intentionally a nod to be inclusive, what it really felt was really reductive of, some really strong personalities and characters and talents that then kind of really got, just limited down to a name. And then just kind of made everyone interchangeable. And I think that's my big picture take. I think, one thing, and I want to credit my friends, Chris and Darren in Minneapolis, who, we had dinner the night afterwards because a lot of people had already seen it. And so we waited to talk till I had seen it. And, one of the piece they shared with the kid and thinking about the performances is that it was, thinking of like Darling Nikki and how we know Darling Nikki, to then basically watch that be recreated. Like, it felt like it was, it was choreographed, and it felt like it was someone who was like hitting the marks of like, okay, this is when I thrust my hips and this is when I move. Like, it wasn't a natural piece it wasn't a natural movement for something that, that performance is so like raw and primal, to then have it rehearsed and mean-spirited, really, in the way that they translated it. It went from like Prince kind of poking fun in the movie and teasing a little bit to really making it like really intentionally mean. And that too just made it really hard to then, we don't have a catharsis to like the kid. So yeah, I think that the big takeaway, like, yeah, you can't have a musical with 2 lead characters who have no resolution in their relationship, and the main character, there's nothing likable. We don't get to see the talent, that might supersede some of those flaws. It just doesn't translate. And that, I think, is just an inherent flaw that will always be with that property, with that character. Like, that is going to be, I think, really difficult to overcome that. I did, incidentally, when I toured Paisley Park the next day, I don't know if he's the only but one of the understudies for the kid role was actually on the tour, and I met him, and really great young man, same thing, very interested in the Prince legacy, and interestingly does actually come from a musical theater background. So that too, I think that was one of the things that, in that difficulty of casting, the current choice, I think they said, let's try, a singer-songwriter who, that puts a really big burden on someone, without a lot of extensive acting experience, to put them in the lead acting role. So again, what he actually did, I thought, is very talented, and really stepped up to do that. And that overall, yeah, I think my criticisms of the show are within the writing, the production, and just wondering, it feels like, there's just too many hands in the pot that have enough money and power to get their voices shared of what it should be, that I think it then just got really muddled into something that was a fun showcase of the music, but the story just really fell flat.
Well, thank you so much, Chris. And we have 2 guests here today to talk about the Purple Rain musical. And Chris, I don't want you to go anywhere because I spotted your singles box set. So I definitely want to hear about that from you. But Crystal, thank you for your patience.
Oh, yeah.
And so we have Crystal Wise with us. And Crystal Wise is a professor at the University of Minnesota. And Chris Aguilar Garcia, introduce yourself. I was just so excited to see you that I forgot to ask you to introduce yourself.
Let's introduce myself. Okay, I'm a lifelong, I said I just turned 55. So since 1982, Prince fan, and somewhat scholar. I'm participate in a lot of the academic conferences.
Gotta see the tattoo, Chris. Come on now.
Oh, especially this we're in the season right now.
Yeah, now there we go.
Yeah,
and not somewhat scholar, just scholar, just
Oh,
scholar, not somewhat.
really, yeah, I definitely have academic imposter syndrome, so thank you. But what else? Yeah, typically most of my scholarship has been around the queerness of Prince. But yeah, I'm kind of a fan of all eras of Prince. Definitely a deep tie to Revolution era as kind of my age and where I came up, and Wendy and Lisa being the very few out queer folks within the big queerish looking purple universe. So yeah.
Thank you for that.
I know, Prof. Duff, I know we got Doc Wise here, and maybe I should hold my question for Brother Chris, but because something when he talked about the Darling Nikki and the tension there, and I'm trying not to so you have a play written by someone who initially said he never thought Purple Rain was a good movie. So you have a person going into something feeling like they had to fix. Mm-hmm. And from what I'm hearing from a lot of people is the flaws seem to be in the writing of trying to fix something. Mm-hmm. And so my question to you is a person who's dealt from an academic standpoint with the queerness of Prince. You as a scholar, have you ever felt a need? You have always dealt with the contradictions, but I think there's a difference in dealing with the contradictions of Prince versus dealing with having to try to fix Prince. And my question is, do you see as a fundamental flaw, is you see a writer rather than dealing with the contradictions, spending more time dealing with how do I fix this thing that they saw was broken? And that may be an unfair question to get you to answer.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, I think that feels pretty straightforward that, yeah, that difference in seeing a contradiction as a flaw. Yeah, that is, that automatically puts it in a judgment of, not being able to hold the multiple pieces of Prince or in this case too, then you're adding on the layers, the nuance of 1984 versus, whatever this timeless world is, but for a 2025 audience. And that was one thing in particular with the, it was like a running joke specifically about Morris throwing someone in the dumpster. And then that too, they kind of, I think, made it even worse by like having a throwaway line of like, yeah, she brought a restraining order against him. Like, they're elevating it, making it more serious, and then downplaying it as a joke. And the same thing, if that was the problematic piece, we hear, I think there's like at least three references in the text to that happening. And then, as was shared, then it's, further, lightened by Morris coming out in the dumpster and singing, which I have to say, though, at the same time, that was one of the best parts of the show. I mean, that actually that was the piece that really felt like you were watching musical theater. But then it was the only place where a character actually broke the fourth wall, and it is like they're talking to the audience. So it was really jarring, again, to take something that was being played kind of serious to then make an even bigger joke of it. But again, to take like, what's the one most problematic piece of that movie? And then let's weave that in and make it a giant piece of the actual narrative. Like, so yes, I do think that there was, rather than saying like, how do we contextualize what this is, it was like, okay, how do we fix the things that we think are wrong?
Okay. Can I ask you guys' opinion too? I think we talked about this last week. I mean, is this sort of like where society is at this point, where an artist like Prince, and this is from the estate that's putting this out, right? It's not just some separate source. So this is sort of their interpretation of this is the clean way, or let's fix these things of Prince that may be problematic to us selling Prince. I wonder, is this sort of is this where we're at as society, where an artist like Prince, who comes out in a time where he was very controversial with all of this stuff, obviously very reactionary to what he was doing. But now we're at a point where society, where the artists are so far out there, but society seems to be reining in. Is society trying to rein in Prince today, or is it his estate trying to rein him in because, you know, maybe their intentions is to make money, not necessarily, they don't want anything that's going to stop that train from happening. And there's probably parts about Prince that they rather just not talk about, or if we're forced to deal with his most impactful cultural, you know, art that he has that everyone knows, let's clean that up. You know, is that something that is kind of going on? And I throw the doc, and what was the song that was left off in 1999?
Extra Lovable.
Extra Lovable. I mean, these sort of things. I always wonder when we get to Dirty Mind, how they're going to reconcile Sister. Like, how are they going to explain that? But that's what I'm throwing out to you guys.
I don't want, because I know Doc Wise is here. I'll just say this to that point. I was 14 when I saw that movie. I'm trying to find the human being in 1984 who did not think or didn't understand that moment was meant to show what a bad person Morris was. That is, I'm looking for the person who left Purple Rain who actually thought that moment made Morris cool. So to say you have to fix that is what you're saying is that the vast majority of people who saw that moment didn't get that was to show his toxicity. And I want to know, was I the only 14-year-old in that theater who went, yeah, that's effed up?
Well, so I'm gonna keep it a buck. No, I laughed. Like,
well, I mean, but here's the thing, Brother Dean. You can find humor in toxicity. That you laughing still didn't make it unclear to you that he was the antagonist. He was the person from which the kid was growing not to become. And then we even get in the end, and as myself and Sister Prof. Commons talked about, Morris Day, the actor, having the sense to say, hey, can y'all give me a scene after the house, the family? Because I ain't looking too good in this movie.
Right.
So can you give me something after? So that for me is the question is, are we in saying we have to fix these things and clean it up? My question is, how many people are we saying that I was that in the minority of thinking that this is a movie about a dude who realizes I don't want to be a fucked up human being? Because to me, that's what Purple Rain is for me. It is about a dude who comes to realization that this is just fucked up. And I'm going to kill myself either literally or figuratively if I don't learn how to become a better human being. I'll shut up because I definitely want Dr. Wise to get started.
All right. Professor Wise, if you don't mind telling us your take on Purple Rain, the musical, and welcome.
Hi, friends. It's great to be with you all. Am I going to add too much to what's been said? Probably not. Thanks, Chris. I think you did cover things well. I will say that I did not like the musical, but I have to say I already knew, even back when I was at the celebration when they did like a little preview of it, I knew already that I wasn't the audience for this. So I think everyone should keep that in mind with any opinions I have. I was not ever like, yay, Purple Rain should be a musical. Like, I never thought that. And along with that, I will say I am with the people who like Graffiti Bridge, perfect for the stage. Perfect, in my opinion. Throw All My Dreams in there somewhere. I just think that's where Prince and musical lives. Is it Purple Rain? No, because I say most of the time Prince is just looking, right? He's just looking in the film. He's not there. Chris, you were saying that with the lines, and that's where a lot of it gets hard to entertained. Is because of the the dialogue and the plot. It's really hard to follow. It's hard to feel like you're enjoying something. It's hard. So with that being said, funny enough, I saw it 3 times.
Well, damn.
And you know what? This some nasty macaroni and cheese. Give me some more. Give me some more nasty macaroni and cheese.
Hilarious.
So Crystal, before you continue, my question to you, because I also saw the preview and I kind of knew that I am also not the demographic for this. So what compelled you about going to see it in the first place? And now I'm hearing that you've seen it 3 times. You got to break that down for us.
So wait, make sure. Prof Wise, are you the person, and the people gonna know what I'm talking about, are you the person that when you eat, you go, this nasty, taste this? Like you offer people like, this is nasty, taste how nasty it is. Like, go ahead.
Well, I'm the person who says, taste this and tell me how nasty it is.
Give me some more.
Or yeah, I will make sure that it is, as I thought, disgusting. But anyhow.
Like, is it really bad? Like, I need another bite. I'm not sure. Wait, yeah, it's bad. Wait, one more. I'm gonna go for 3.
I gotta make sure. Well, first twice it was because I have lovely people around me and they were free tickets. And so I got to go twice that way. And then the third time I did buy my ticket. I will say, right, I do want to, support the young people who are in the show. I don't know where it's going after this. Has anyone heard? As I know, the show is wrapped on the 23rd. Like, is it for sure going to Broadway? So anyway, I wanted to make sure.
I haven't heard. I mean, I'm that's the goal, obviously. Mm-hmm. So like, I'm curious, like if they're going to take the show on the road before it gets to Broadway, like maybe play some additional major cities like Detroit or Atlanta. But I haven't heard anything about next steps yet.
Yeah, I hadn't either. I was trying to look for last night. Anyhow, with that being said, right, I think most of the people, I don't think that it's not, I didn't feel entertained because of the talent on the stage. I think it's because of the music. I think it's because it's the plot and the dialogue it's really weak and it's hard to take in. But back to, I'll just piggyback off a lot of things that were said. I agree, Chris, like the kid, and of course this was going to be hard. I don't know when they chose him, but I also just think I think I thought about him quite often because I thought about, right, what big shoes to fill. And I don't know how much time he had to actually prep for the role. And so if we think about how much, work Prince and everybody else who put in to do the movie and how Prince rehearsed, like, I think these are the pieces of the legacy that I struggle with in terms of like, if we're going to be like, it was a time, because I know that they actually were talking to a lot of people, right, who were around Prince, work for Prince, right? Bobby Z and Morris Hayes are working with them to whatever extent. But it's like, how do you give that to the people who are in the play as well? And so that's what I was like, yes, you have a production, but like, right, in terms of carrying on these pieces of Prince's legacy to pass those things on, how much of that was there. So I would have loved to know that was happening. But given, I think they picked him or chose him, or at least it was announced, right, a couple of months before. And so a lot of it, you can see the thinking and the, I won't call, right, like it's just not really clean, the performance of the kid. And I know it's supposed to be, right, not Prince, but the kid. But, right, he's in the clothes. And I think that's right. He's in the kid's outfit, but then wears, right, the Sign of the Time fur jacket. And it's like, well, what's right? Like, it's still doing those things. The opening, and I don't think he gets even the character, how it's written, the kid doesn't get to shine. And it's hard to root for anyone in the whole musical. When I go to musicals or shows, I'm always expecting to like walk away with that big feeling like, wow, right? Like, I want to be on the stage, or, just that big, fantastical, everything in the world reality, and to whatever extent is suspended. You never get that kind of feeling watching that. right? But I get that watching the movie, I'm like, you know, when I saw Purple Rain as a kid, I was like, yeah, that's how all the adults dress. I can't wait to be an adult. Like this is you know, this is what adults get to do. Like you never get like this, I'm rooting for anyone. Yeah, you know, there's the pizzazz, there's the sparkle, there's the something, right? That's larger than life, which is really kind of disappointing. Right off the bat, they do, of course, like Let's Go Crazy, but then goes into Kiss and You Got the Look. And maybe people don't have a problem with that, but I did because I feel like Kiss and You Got the Look are different kind of Prince if you're trying to like portray like this underdog kind of character or like something grittier. And so it just doesn't, right? You're kind of taken out of immediately, even if you kind of get this idea of a rebel or somebody who's going against something, which I feel like to a certain extent, that's a lot of what's happening on some level. But once you go to Kiss and You Got the Look, it doesn't quite make sense. Boo, 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 boo. I think that's right. Like Purple Rain isn't earned. And I think that's kind of following with the first point that I was making. Like he doesn't kind of become this character you root for, or anyone really. It is in a lot of service. I know someone put it in the chat, like, and then Michael, you were talking about it a little bit, like, is it trying, or Celie, like trying to correct for something? I think that was a lot of it, which was odd because the misogyny was definitely there on its own, right? Like it's just a very odd thing, I think, for us to think that you could create something, right, with the bubble. You're in the society, but like, how do you think you yourself can just like not reinforce some of these things as well, which they actually do, right? So you're trying to overcorrect for misogyny of 1984, but then you redo it in another way, actually on this film with the way that you wrote this, which I thought was problematic. And so not really helpful. And then again, thinking about Prince's legacy, right? Like this idea, right? Like Prince was doing things that people weren't doing in terms of feminism or trying to, female empowerment, for better or worse. It wasn't always great, but there was something to it. To kind of erase that or ignore that and then just completely strip it away. There's one line, I think, about Glamorous Life, like, I think it's Wendy's character who says something like, doing it on the limousine floor, right, takes a very feminist stance against something like that. Well, anyway, right, so those things happening, it's a little bit like, wait, right, what happened to kind of like the thinking around, to whatever extent Vanity 6 is showing some kind of female empowerment. Not Glamorous Life is whichever one, Nasty Girl, Glamorous Life, they do those, but there's like a tax on the song in this particular way that I think are strange, because I think a lot of people think of those in a different way, not so much, right, as disempowering. I don't know. I'll pause there if there are any questions or like comments, but go ahead, Celie.
I have a question and for somebody, and I want to be very clear. This is actually a question. I'm not trying to be funny or facetious. If he's still here, Keith Upchurch 7928. Could you explain what you mean by gatekeeping? Because I know what I mean. I know what gatekeeping means when I use it. We try to be clear and want everybody to. So could you, if you're still here, what do you mean when you say you guys are gatekeeping? Could you explain that? Because I want to make sure I understand what you're saying to that. That's it. I'll let Professor, because I think one thing that we want to be clear is Prof. Duff and Brother Dean, they've done a wonderful job of curating a space that allows us to love on Prince and analyze Prince and study Prince and make everybody feel welcome. So I just want to make sure that you're not feeling unwelcome in some kind of way, but I also want to know what you mean by when you say gatekeeping, because I just want to make sure that we answer it. Y'all go ahead. I had a question, but I'll come back to it when I can think about it.
I got a question while we're waiting for that. This is to Chris and Crystal. What do you think a a fan of Broadway and musicals who may not necessarily be a hardcore Prince fan, do you think they would enjoy this, just for what is presented to them without knowing the intricacies of Prince and all that kind of stuff?
I'd say it depends on the degree of Broadway fan they are. I think if they're a big musical person, I think they're going to see some of the same things of like, you have to like the main character. The main character has to be likable, and there has to be an arc that is right now. There's no, and Crystal, you said it really well of that, like, a musical is a big, like, fun experience that even if it's something you're like, when you walk out, you want to feel like, oh, wow, that was, I went on that journey. I had fun. There's a tune in my head. And yeah, so I think that would be, I don't think it doesn't really fit into that conventional space either. So I think that's part of, I think my bigger show criticisms are more through that lens than as a fan of just why, the personal, I have to take it personally as these are reasons I don't like it, but I think they also are things that make it not work as what it's supposed to be, as a Broadway musical.
All right, Chris.
Yeah, I think it's tough. Honestly, I think because I think people who don't know much, right, with other musicals that are out there, I think they're also thinking this is Prince's life, like a factual portrayal of his life, right? And I witnessed that with one of the people I went with. They said, well, they said, I didn't know all this happened with him. And I was like, right. So the question is, could they walk away liking it? The plot line is hard to follow. I think you could say, oh, I do remember that song, or I do, like, yeah, you could easily do that. Music sounds good. But I don't think if you like the story itself, it's just not well supported. It's just the plot is really hard to take in. I know people have said that quite a bit on social media, that it's just long, and it's really long. There are times without music that is just it goes quite a long time without music.
Yeah, I think another point that I thought of with what you shared, Crystal, is the glamorous life, the sex shooter, another thing that really does is Apollonia is presented as being this really talented singer, and I think they do a great rendition of Take Me With You, but then her big performance pieces are those, the sex shooter, nasty girl, and then like really belting on Sugar Walls. But so it does, then when they're undercutting the value of those songs, you're just undercutting the lead character and who she's supposed to be. And just with that structure too, I'm like, don't have Wendy and Lisa sing Nothing Compares to You. Have Apollonia sing Nothing Compares to You. Let us see that she actually is a crooner. Like, you can't say that she's this amazing talent and then put her in songs that don't showcase the vocal talent, and then have a narrative thread that is undercutting the value of those.
Did you say Wendy and Lisa sang that Nothing Compares to You in the play?
They did.
Wow. This is almost like if somebody took, and I'm a fan of Marvel or DC, and they just mixed the timeline of the characters where they had, Wolverine was Spider-Man's buddy or something. And like, that doesn't really have, it's just like, and it sounds like with this Prince thing, they're just pulling all of these Prince things and just throwing them, not nearly, but just throwing it in there just to, we've got this, but it doesn't match the eras. And why would this character sing that? It's always interesting as a fan to hear this. Wow.
Yeah.
I made these choices.
Did you like it, Chris? Did you like the Nothing? I thought they did well with it. The Wendy and Lisa. Yeah.
No, I thought that was good. And I think that's maybe the other thing too, from that musical lens, is there aren't a lot of those big musical type numbers. So you don't have a lot of moments where people are really getting into a song and singing it. It is with so many like kind of upbeat and then medley type things. You don't really hit those like, I'm like, I'm singing along, I'm doing, the types of things that happen in musicals.
Yeah,
Right.
I will say there was the one medley with the bedroom scene. I thought that went well.
Oh, I did like that piece
Yeah.
too. Yeah, that actually was, I thought, well done.
I don't know if we're doing full on spoilers. I don't know, but
I think we can.
Yeah.
Oh, we've already
Yeah.
passed that
Yeah,
point.
we passed that. Yeah.
We've been past that.
Yeah, say what y'all need to say. Don't even worry about that. Cause so question, and I don't know how many of you guys know about how Grease was a play first and became a movie. So I don't know if you guys know the controversy behind how they changed. So this is actually in reverse. Grease the play was actually considered to be too body to make a movie. And John Travolta in the movie is one of the few people who wasn't connected to the play. And so the guy who plays John Travolta's best friend, Kaniki, was actually the original lead in the movie. I'm saying this to say because
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but what happened is, and what I want to bring it back to Purple Rain, because there were so many people in the play, they fought to keep certain elements in the movie, even though it was subverted. And I'll give you a particular example. When they're doing the grease lightning, when they're fixing the car, and John Travolta has this saran wrap, and nobody understands why the hell he has that saran wrap. Well, the reason is because in the play, Brother Dean, and in the 50s, there was a joke that you could use saran wrap as a contraceptive. So they didn't want that in the movie. But what the people from the play did was talk. So if you watch the movie, what John Travolta does is take the saran wrap and wipes it across his crotch as an ode to the play. My point in saying all of that is, I know they have Bobby Z and Morris Hayes, but it seems to me that maybe what you need are more people connected to the film who can fight for some things in a way that the play doesn't, that the film doesn't become discombobulated in its transition. Because everybody who talks about that transition from Grease the play to Grease the movie, they all say that what saved the movie was having people from the play who could fight for the integrity to the movie. That's it.
You know, that just to deviate for a second, that's so interesting to me because, you know, that's one of these movies that's just cross-generational, and I've never seen the play. So, and I love what I was presented to as Grease and the music and stuff. And then, you know, even my youngest kid comes across these clips on YouTube and is fascinated by these songs. And I sort of watch the movie now with the older, and I can see. So I was like, I didn't know it was this raunchy or little pieces that were thrown. I never picked up on that, but now when you say this, that makes a lot of sense. So that's interesting.
So one thing I want to say, I don't think Keith Upchurch is here with us anymore, but in case they watch the rest of this, and you know, just to be very explicit, I think it's really important for us to understand there's a difference between criticism and critique. And what we're doing is critique. And why do you critique? Because you want to make something better. And then why do we want to make something better? Because we want Prince's name to live on forever. I personally think that even though I'm not into musical theater, that the idea, the intent behind a Purple Rain musical is a good one because it will introduce new fans to Prince. And so I'm all for it. And the only thing we're trying to do is, you know, maybe put out in the universe some things that can be tweaked so that when it does eventually get to Broadway, that it will actually stay at Broadway. Because what we don't want is for it to get to Broadway and it does not perform very well and they close it after like a couple of weeks. Now that would not be cool. Right. So we're only doing this out of love. We're not trying to gatekeep nothing because we want as many people as possible on the planet to be introduced to Prince and his genius. And that is really important to us. Yeah. And it is, if something's not right, you need to say something. And the wrong thing, like the worst thing that you can do is say nothing when something's not right. It's because we want Prince to be shown in the best light possible. We want any projects, especially affiliated with the Prince estate, to be as amazing as possible so that Prince continues to gain the fans that he so deserves. Because as I think Chris Bournet put in the chat, Prince worked his butt off. Yes, he was talented, But it wasn't just talent that made Prince who he is. What made Prince was his work ethic. And that's the reason why we spend every single Saturday for the past 3 years talking about Prince's work ethic. And who else would do this week after week if we did not love Prince? I don't think we would be doing this week after week after week if we did not like Prince. So love Prince, and we love him dearly. So we're only doing this out of love, and we hope that maybe some people will watch this and get back to the Prince estate and they can fix some of the glitches so this can be the best Purple Rain musical that it can be. That's why we're doing this. So if you have any thoughts or questions about why we're having all of these reviews of the Purple Rain musical, we're only doing it out of love, and I can't stress that enough. All right.
And also, I would say that what I love about what Brother Chris has done, and Prof. Crystal, and even Brother Ted, and even with Brother Dean and Prof. Duff, these are really conceptual conversations. They're having artistic conversations. They're not saying this actor was terrible or this thing was. They're having these kind of artistic conversations because, again, it's about how do people understand the art, right? We can't even critique it until people understand the art. And so we think, because it had me thinking about, I'm sure we're all familiar with the movie Gone with the Wind, right? And what a lot of people don't know is there was a novel that was written in response to Gone with the Wind, and that novel is called Jubilee by Margaret Walker Alexander. The reason that novel is important because you don't get Toni Morrison's novel Beloved. That is, Toni Morrison said that Jubilee is the reason why Beloved was able to exist. I'm bringing that point up because Jubilee was denouncing Gone with the Wind. And here's what I find important about that. Margaret Walker didn't rewrite Gone with the Wind, right? Margaret Walker didn't say, I'm going to rewrite Gone with the Wind to fix what's wrong with Gone with the Wind. I'm going to write another novel. I'm going to create another novel. And I think that's the difference. There's a difference between I'm going to create art in response to something versus I'm going to fix something that I think is broken. And I think that those are the kind of artistic discussions and conceptual discussions that we are having with is, right, are we having this kind of response to our art? Are we reworking the art? Or are we trying to make it to where the art can then be loved by more people? And I think you have to have those three kind of discussions to make sure we're doing whatever it is. And I've said this before, for like a hot second, and this comes surprise me because I don't like cover songs. For a hot second, I thought about reworking Under the Cherry Moon into a story about a tragic mulatto. And because I always thought that there was enough there that you could make Mary biracial. And that what would happen in that film if Mary was biracial? But then I thought of it, I said, well, but would I just be reworking somebody else's art? So I abandoned it because I wasn't clear in my mind what I would have been doing, even though I thought there was enough there. And I think these are the types of artistic questions that folks are trying to raise. Because the other thing I want to give credit to, and I want to give credit to you two and the Brother Ted, having a maturity to actually go see it, right? I do think that is a level of artistic maturity to say, hey, I ain't really sure about this, but I do need to at least go see it. And I end on this. When I was 12, my mama made me go see, oh yeah, I remember the movie. When I was 12, I think I was 12, my mama made me, she dragged her child to go see this movie, Terms of Endearment. Now, some of y'all will know that movie and remember that movie. And I couldn't. In fact, she made me go see Terms of Endearment and The Toy. That's her fault. She took her 12-year-old son to go see The Toy and got mad because he was laughing at all the jokes. But that's a whole nother discussion. But my mother, and I want to say this particularly Prof. Duff and Prof. Wide, my mama made me go see Terms of Endearment because she knew this is what white folks was going to be talking about as top art. And so when they had the Academy Awards, and that movie won all those, my mama woke my young ass up and said, see, I told you these white people was going to be talking about this, and you need to know about it. And I was like, okay, can I go back to bed now? But if you're going to be in this Prince world, you have to have an informed and educated understanding. So I applaud both of y'all and Brother Ted for going so that we can have these informed conversations. I'll shut up.
All right. So if it's okay with everyone, I want to switch to Around the Rolling Today singles box set that Chris Aguilar Garcia has, because I want to know what his thoughts are on the singles box set. So take it away.
All right, thank you. And thanks for that. That was a really fun. I enjoyed doing that deep dive on with folks who would know and understand. So yes, this I think this is probably the first time ever that or definitely for Record Store Day, and maybe ever, that I like got up early to go get in line.
What?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not, my like vinyl love is Prince, basically. Like, it's for Prince stuff. So other things, if it's not Prince, I don't. And I missed the the Sign of the Times, when they did that single box. I missed it. It sold out before I got it. So then since then I'm like, okay, I'm not going to miss any more of these. But yes, so I got up, I was in line an hour ahead. It actually worked fine for the store I was at.
What store did you go to? I like to shout out the record stores.
So two different pieces. So the first part, so I went to Twist and Shout, which is one of the bigger Denver indie stores, and was pretty sure, I saw that, Tanja, that it would be there. In fact, I thought they even said on the door, I thought it said, "We will have the Prince release." So I was excited. I got in line. There was maybe like, I think, the person behind me counted, there was like 70 people in line. I'm like, okay, odds are probably, if they have something, it should be good. But I get there and they didn't have it. So I was like, but I had looked through I hadn't also even looked through the list to see what else was there. But I did that while I was waiting in line. The one other thing I was interested in was a Joni Mitchell live. It's also an exclusive. So I did pick that up. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to try at least 2 more stores before I give up. And 5 minutes away, Wax Trax, both Twist and Shout and Wax Trax, longtime Denver stores. So they have survived the times and have even, I think, multiple locations. But I did do, just walked in. It was right there on the shelf, picked it up. I think it's gorgeous. I'm obviously, as I showed for my tattoo, like, this is among all of my Prince love. There's a particular deep love for the album and the artwork and everything about it. So this one especially, I really wanted.
Yo, Chris, real quick, the streets want to know, is that Tina Turner behind you?
Oh, it is Tina Turner.
That's cool.
Yeah, Tina Turner Barbie, one of my other. Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
Good job.
Tina next to Jackie Kennedy. So Kennedys were my first obsession in 4th grade before Prince took over in 6th grade. So yes, it's definitely so it is. She's full on in the What's Love Got to Do with It leather square. Let's grab her. She has the mic, and the shoes are not great. The shoes always fall off, and she lost the mic, or it's somewhere.
Oh, no.
I still have it somewhere. I got to get under the desk. But yes, here's Tina.
That's cool.
Yeah. But so yes, so obviously anything with the celebrating the artwork, then especially. And I think it's fantastic. It's really well done. That one, as Tanja mentioned in there, for having like 1,985 copies. Oh shit, I got one other thing. So as I was going, I got in the car and I realized I was like really low on gas, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to stop for gas. And then like the second bar went down as I was on the highway, like about 10 minutes away, and I'm like, okay, I better get gas because I don't want to run out of gas. But I was like, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 1985 in my tank as my like little like good luck omen. And I hit it right at 1985. So I don't know if that's what did it, but yes. So then just, recreation of the existing covers, with the exception obviously of For the Tears in Your Eyes. And as I was saying before I distracted myself, that with 1985, it's like, God, it would have been really nice to have a little foil stamp with the numbers on them.
Yes, that's my biggest pet peeve for sure.
So, but the colors too, I thought are really, they're like way like deeper than I was imagining them to be. Oh, and this too, that it's like a double sleeve. So like the 45, then inside another, like the white sleeve. And so you can see it's like a really or as they put it, I don't have the label right in front of me, but yes, so it's Raspberry Beret. This is raspberry, the color on Raspberry Beret. Oh, and I just made the connection on Paisley Park, I guess, is peach, fitting the Paisley of that. Do you want to see all of them? Should I pull them all out? Are they?
Actually, I pulled them out earlier,
Okay.
but Celie wasn't here, so pull them out for
Oh,
people who wasn't at the beginning with
Oh
us.
yeah, so then here's the Paisley Park single. And there's your peach on that. Oh, look, it matches like my name thing.
Yeah.
Pop Life, which I, in listening to the album so much again, I, in 1985, kind of was like, about Pop Life. Yeah, I'm sorry, Crystal. I was 14. What did I know? But anyway, now I cannot get, and for many years, not just with the album, not just with the re-release, but now I'm like, oh my God, such an amazing song.
I'm glad you woke up, Chris.
Thank you.
What's the on the Pop Life? I assume Pop Life is on one side. What's on the other side?
And Hello.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Those look good.
They do. They're good.
Yeah, they did really nice. Then America.
It look like mini 12 inches in my mind.
Totally right. Yeah.
And this girl on the back of that, right?
And Girl, and then that too. So they do have the front side has like the Paisley, and then the back the Cloud.
Okay. So that's the complete. Yeah, that's exactly how the originals were.
Yeah, and then there's the white. Also, yeah, like definitely a deep, clean, clear white. I love the irony of that, of putting that America, making it white. And then for the Tears in Your Eyes, obviously, and easy choice to make for the art. I think could have maybe been a little maybe more nuanced on that, but and then this one clear.
Oh wow, that's nice.
Oh my God, trying to be.
What's on the other side of For the Tears in Your Eyes?
It's the two versions. So A is the We Are the World, and B is the hits B side.
Oh wow, that is great.
Yeah. So, and then just the box, nice, solid. Like,
yeah, they did their thing.
Yeah, they really did.
Except for the numbers.
Right.
The numbers are so important because if it's a collectible, you gotta make it.
I'm gonna write my own number.
Yeah. So there was a question in the chat. Lady Crab Driver wanted to know: have you seen the new video for Pop Life?
I did watch it last night.
I saw it at the Around the World in a Day event at Paisley. They did. So when they did the event, they showed it. They premiered it there and said it would come out on Black Friday. But yeah.
So and what did you think about it?
I was not a fan. I didn't like they make the characters on the album cover, right? They manipulated AI, whatever it is. So I wasn't a big fan of that, but I liked the parts where Prince is clearly performing. And I think when they did the Nothing Compares to You way back when, and they did the rehearsal footage with it, I feel like that's what they have to like either be at the level of or get better than. And it doesn't get there for me. But it's fine. I mean, it's Pop Life. It's great. Right. But yeah, it's parts of it are fine or good, right? When Prince is performing, but the other and it does say animated.
Right.
But and a person who loves the lyrics, I would have liked to see more things related to the lyrics. But it was also really nice. They did a food drive at Around the World in a Day event at Paisley. So that was really nice. I felt like right the time of the year and part of kind of right with Hello and For the Tears in Your Eyes and all that made a lot of sense. But the video, I'm still like, I love that rehearsal with Nothing Compares to You footage. And those are the videos I kind of favor that they've done.
Tanja, I'm gonna be there too. I gotta go as well, y'all. So man, great show. Thank you guys, Crystal, Chris, Ted, Ricky. I'm gonna see y'all next week.
All right, brother Dean.
All right.
The so yeah, on the video, same thing. I liked parts of it, but it did I think my criticism is there's like 5 different elements. And so, you know, I think if it were just like I'm torn. I think in some places I liked the animated characters singing, and some I didn't. But even that, it felt like there were 2 different things. There was kind of one version of the album thing happening, and then another one where it really looked like they're actual like cutouts. So those two different versions of the same thing, and then you have like the green screen, like I'm imagining a contemporary person coming and dancing, and then the opening. Also, I can't decide if I do like it or not, but it's like an homage to the whirling ball in the Sign of the Times movie, right. But as a bubble. And they did do the payoff at the end. I was waiting. I was like, when is the bubble gonna pop? You know. Right. So, and I did like the way it pops into the Prince and the Revolution logo. But same thing. I think if it was maybe 2 of those elements instead of 5, it would have felt a little more seamless and not kind of a little all over the place.
Do y'all, because I was kind of what I was talking about earlier, I liked it. Do y'all think it would have been better if they would have done, because particularly hearing Prof. Wise talk about it paying more attention to the lyrics? What if they would have, you know how they have the animation in Raspberry Beret and the animation is acting out the second part of the song? Do you think they would have done better if they'd had the animation kind of doing that kind of same thing? Do you think it would have worked better then?
Yeah, I mean, I think the same thing. I think that, you know, using this like static image there, you know, it's obviously harder to then wholly create something happening. Right. But mentioning that was one of the thoughts I had too, was like, oh, if we're going animated, that would have also been curious to keep it in the universe and use the Raspberry Beret animation as the template for the animation. Yeah,
I agree with that. Yeah, that would have been better than the cutout kind of look for me. But yeah, but maybe the imagery is needed, right? So people see it with the album cover with the song.
Right. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. And that too. Yeah. I did like the woman laying down. That, you know, cool to see that come to life for anyone out there who still, which I imagine on secular non-Prince audiences, probably a lot of people who don't recognize that as a body. So that was
especially since my 15-year-old self spent so many days looking at that. So yeah. When she came to life on that video, I remember what it was to be 15. Let's move on.
Well, actually, you know, so for the Pop Life 40 symposium, Michael Dean didn't even know that it was a lady in the background until he saw the graphics for the symposium, which I thought was really interesting. So if Michael Dean didn't know, I'm sure there are quite a lot of yes, for sure. So I would like to thank both of you, Chris and Crystal, for coming on today. And I'm going to remove you from the stage unless there's anything else you'd like to say. Because
I do have one more thing to say.
Yes, of course.
With the musical, the other reason it's a little bit tough, and if anyone sees it, it might be helpful, right? Like because Lake Minnetonka, Prince's motorcycle, these are very important to, I think, the Purple Rain film, but they don't go to the stage, or we didn't see them transfer to the stage well. And I think that, right, these iconic pieces, even if it's that makes the movie even more than, even if you don't really like, right, the acting or some of the things that happen, right? Like these are the scenes make Minneapolis is a character. I will say that Minnesota is a character in the Purple Rain film, but it doesn't become a character in the Purple Rain musical. And I think that also is taking some of the charm and, like I said, the grittiness, things that you can root for, away from it. And like they said, Chris, you mentioned it's the first. So I think, I don't know, I think it's the place. Place is I know if I've done talks on it too, right? That's a really important piece to it. So in any edits or revisions, like really thinking through that, right? Like Prince is missing, Minneapolis, in my opinion, is also missing.
Nice. Actually, that reminds me of a closing note I'll add that related to that. And I haven't seen a lot of like film to musical adaptations, so I don't know if this is normal, but the same thing, I was surprised that some of the kind of like iconic lines, like that 8-link Minnetonka, and I'm forgetting now, there was another one I thought of just some little one-liners that would be a pullback to the actual, like I thought that felt like a missed opportunity to not include some of those as Easter eggs versus some of the other kind of back catalog type or, you know, backstory things they threw in of like the journey mention. Some of those things that are even more deep just felt like a couple of the like kind of iconic lines included in the text would have also been, yeah, I would have enjoyed that. So
do they not say this is a business?
I don't think they do. They say a version of it because they still have that kind of confrontation of, you know, you can't just do whatever you want. Like, I'm running a business, but it's not a verbatim reading of that.
So this is more of a movie question than a play question. Because when you brought up Link Minnetonka, right before she jumps in, there's a moment where the kid is like, hey, wait, whoa, you know, I always thought that was supposed to be a seed of this dude can be redeemed, right? That, you know, we get that it's masculine and sexist and all of that, right? Get the girl to get undressed. But I always took that as him trying to stop her. Like, hey, I was just joking. I didn't, you know, did you guys talk about the movie, see that as something that at that time in real thinking about the movie and how he makes his narrative arc, that's another one of those things where we're seeing that, hey, this dude is not where he should be as a human being, but that shows that there's enough there that we can root for him to become the person that he wants to be. Or was it just something that you didn't think about at all?
As a 14-year-old, I definitely didn't have that conscious recognition, but what it does illustrate for me, or what I like about it in thinking about the musical, is that is a great example of the difference between text and subtext. You know, right. He wasn't saying, hey, I'm a good guy, don't do it. He said something and we saw that. We didn't need to be told like, hey, I'm a good guy. And that, I think, is what the musical was lacking, was being able to have that kind of a line or an action or a movement that illustrated the characters. So then it had to be in the actual text.
Okay.
Oh.
Cool.
All right. Thank you both again, Chris and Crystal, for coming on. We really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And just one last question for you, Chris, because I don't know why I've never noticed this. I guess since I'm so enamored with the Around the Rolling Day tattoo.
Yeah.
When did you get your Paisley Park tattoo on your hand? Is that new, or am I just like?
That is, I just did that this summer.
Okay.
I keep thinking my like Around the World in a Day piece is done. And then I'm like, oh, I've always wanted a Paisley Park, didn't know where. And then I was going to be in LA seeing the artist who did that. And now I think I do need to figure out a way to add in some of the like the green and orange from the bottom and some of the blurbs of like the woman body. So it's a 15-year-long process, I guess. And
can you hold up your hand one more time? Because I had you in a little square.
Okay.
We want to see that in full. That's amazing.
I think she did obviously it's a copy type thing, but she still just, I think, did such great work on that.
Yeah, that's such great work. Did that hurt on top of your hand like that?
You know, yes. I'm trying to remember. I don't know necessarily more than any other place. And yeah, Emily Ann Tattoos in LA at Studio City. Tattoo. Yeah, she's done all or other pieces as well, but all of my Around the World in a Day work has been done by Emily. So
nice. She's amazing, because your Around the World in a Day tattoo is the best, bar none. Anytime I think tattoo, that's the first thing I think of is your tattoo. For sure. All right, so I'm going to remove both of you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody. It was fun. Thanks. Have a good one.
Yes. Let's see. Okay, and then hopefully, they've changed some of the stuff in StreamYard, so I hope I'm doing okay. So Celie, I don't know how long you can stick with me, but we're going to have to try to do a really fast what did Prince do this week, because we haven't even gotten there. I'm surprised my timekeeper hasn't.
She gave up. Kim quit. This is the second time in 3 years. Kim quit. Remember that? We never forget that day you quit. Kim just left us. She's like, oh, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. All right. So luckily there's just 2 days. So I'm going to try to do this like super fast. So we're week 48 of What Did Prince Do This Week, episode number 148. And this week, Prince did 3 songs, tracked 3 songs, and had 1 studio session. And on Tuesday, Prince and Jerome returned to Minneapolis from Nice, France, after filming Under the Cherry Moon. And then on Saturday, there's Tracking of Mountains, Tracking of Dream Factory, Tracking of an Honest Band, and then overdubs and mixes for Sheila E's Touch Me, Hold Me. So this is actually a really important week because Prince has returned to Minneapolis, but also he's returned to the studio with a passion to track 3 incredible songs, Celie, on one day: Mountains, Dream Factory, and Honest Man. Okay, so Celie, can you do us the
Tuesday,
pleasure of
26?
Yes, you got it.
All right. Prince and Jerome Benton returned to Minneapolis, and Prince had his first opportunity to see his new home in Galpin on Galpin Boulevard. The rest of Thanksgiving week was spent moving all of Prince's belongings to the new home that he would be sharing with Susanna. Quote, "It was like this dream," she recalls how Prince reacted. Quote, "He was saying, I have my studio now in my house. I used to have one in my old home. Now I got a really nice one. I've got the studio at Sunset Sound here. Oh, I got the studio at Sunset Sound here. Same guys who designed it, same board, everything the same. I've got my girl, and I've got this big, beautiful house with all of the beautiful land. Is that land? Yeah, my glasses went. It was extraordinary how big that house was and how much land he had. He'd look out of his backyard and we'd be like, wow, look what we have. It's incredible. Then he could go downstairs and create," end quote. Because his studio wasn't functioning yet and was not until early the next year, he would continue to record at the warehouse. Over. Eric Leeds recalls his part in these Minneapolis sessions. This is Eric talking. It's Friday, November 29th, and Alan calls and says, quote, he wants everybody up in Minneapolis tomorrow. Prince all of a sudden got excited about it, and he wants to start to do something with the expanded band with Miko on guitar now, end quote. That's Alan talking to Eric. And that's when he said to me, he wants a trumpet player. He said, call Bliston. So I called Matt and I said, man, I got some good news and I got some bad news. The good news is that you might have a gig. So the bad news is the audition is in Minneapolis tomorrow morning. And he said, oh shit. So we flew up the next morning and we got in there that day. And Saturday morning, we went right into the warehouse and we jammed.
All right, so I have some photos of the Galpin Boulevard house, and let me see if I can turn these off. Yes. All right. So I'm assuming that these are before Prince, right when Prince purchased the house, because it was a brick house, and then they started prepping it for paint. And then, as we know, the Galpin Boulevard house is where the windmill was, and I think the Netherlands were the ones who sent the windmill to Prince. So here's some shots of the windmill, because eventually the propellers kind of got lost. But you can see how massive the Galpin Boulevard estate was. And when Prince passed, it really made me feel some kind of way where they had to sell off this land in order to pay some of the legal costs. And now there's like a subdivision where the Galpin Boulevard house used to be. which I think is really, really sad. But you can see that not only was there a lot of land around it, but you can kind of see that it wasn't even developed land behind it. You can see the swimming pool, and you can see at this point the house is like yellow with purple accents. And here's another shot again where you can see now the grass has grown in a little bit. And then also you can see the windmill, and this is a more up close photo of the windmill, which is beautiful. Those propellers are huge. And then this is that where the windmill was, but just the building that was housing the windmill. And then I just love this picture. It's just like, but I'm curious, Celia, I'm sure Prince didn't even enjoy this view. It was like a really beautiful view. His estate was like really beautiful, but he probably wasn't like, well, he probably rode his bike though. You know, he was into riding his bike. So hopefully he rode his bike around the estate. This was the gate where you came into the house, like at the beginning here. And then these are some more, like, I just can imagine Prince riding his bike on these trails. At least I hope he did, and took advantage of this really amazing estate. And this is when Prince painted the house purple, like full purple. And then these are shots actually from some of the Diamonds and Pearls videos, because a lot of those videos were shot in the house. So you can see some of the interior from these videos of what it looked like inside. And what I really love about the photo to the right is that that is actually Mary Sharon's bed from Under the Cherry Moon. So either he got the headboard shipped to Minneapolis or it's a recreation, but I would assume he would just have it shipped because I'm sure he had other stuff shipped back for the bedroom. And then these are some interior shots of like the living room area. And it's just a traditional home. You know, it wasn't anything it was a big home, but it wasn't anything fancy about it. And that's one of the things that I loved about Prince, because, you know, he really focused on like saving that money for Paisley Park and all the stuff that he needed for that instead of his home. And this is the area once Prince demolished the house, because as you know, he demolished the Galpin Blvd home. It's no longer there. And this is what was left of it. And yeah, so I wanted to share these photos with those of you who haven't seen the Galpin Blvd house. It's a really important house. It was very close to Paisley Park.
Yep.
And so, yeah. So next we're going to read our second entry and final entry for this week. And I'll read this one. So let me change the thing here. We'll go like this. Okay. So Saturday, November 30th, 1985, Mountains tracking on overdubs, Dream Factory tracking overdubs and mix, and Honest Man likely tracking, Horn overdubs, edit and mix, Touch Me, Hold Me, likely overdubs and mix, Washington Avenue Warehouse, Edina, Minnesota, producer Prince, artist Prince and the Revolution, engineer Susan Rogers. I remember around that time that Prince was a little disappointed. What surprised him was that Paul left to go up to Hollywood to pursue a career. Prince had paid for him to take singing and acting lessons so that Paul could be singing and acting for him. And Paul had the idea in mind of acting and singing for himself. So Prince was disappointed and Dream Factory came about. And that was Susan Rogers. The reality is that Prince occasionally carried grudges. That's who I call Petty Prince. So Paul Peterson leaving the family was still on his mind, and when Prince wasn't in control of a situation, he often did what he could to regain that control, which now included folding in members of the family into a recording session like this, explains Wendy. Paul had left and we were doing those songs. I think Prince felt a sense of having to save the ship from going down. I think he was working overtime and his impatience level was at 100. So you could tell the mood he was in. Bobby used to say it all the time. You could tell what mood he was in depending on the hairdo. And if he was wearing this do-rag like this, walking into rehearsal, don't talk to him. So you could tell. So there was a lot of having to read the room. As he'd done when creating the song Mutiny for the family to reflect how he felt about the time breaking up, he wrote a song that would express his frustrations. It was one of those that was done very quickly, remembered Susan. Sometimes he would get an idea and he'd do a song and say, let's get the band together. It will sound like this and look like this, and it's going to be this, and then it faded pretty fast. The band was assembled and Dream Factory was rehearsed. Using the fictionalized place he introduced in Sheila E's track, Holly Rock, Prince shaped his lyrics to reflect the damage that is caused by putting your faith in a dream factory instead of sticking with Prince. He would exaggerate that the track was for a turncoat who, after a quick brush with success, lost themselves in a haze of wine, women, and pills, or so the fiction goes. This person is not Prince, as explained in the song, Listen to the Story of a Man I Am Not. The song contained references to how he felt that Peterson had abandoned those around him. Don't forget your friends, they're all you got, and the pain he caused them. Prince even recorded a chant as a direct diss to Paul, St. Paul Punk of the Month, that was eventually edited out, but Prince would revisit the line during his performances in 1986. I would really love to hear the original St. Paul Punk of the Month in the song personally. But obviously well, I know it's petty Prince, and yes, it's mean, but it's still pretty funny.
I still think I love that song. I love it.
Do too.
I love the studio version, and my favorite live performance of it is the Boston show.
Yes. And let's see, I'm going to skip a lot of these paragraphs so you can have something that you can read at home. And also, we ain't got time for all this, so we're going to skip through. And I'm going to go to, there was anger about Paul Peterson leaving, but Prince channeled that resentment into a story of right and wrong and how Hollywood was a place where you made deals bargaining away your soul. And he created a song that was hopefully a warning to others. Now, we can say a lot about this, and I'm just going to say this really quick thing. I think it's really interesting in real time that we never heard anything about Prince. You know, like he kept himself away from that scene. And I think being in Minneapolis, because he said Minneapolis is so cold that it kept the bad people away, that's was one of Prince's actually saving graces, and also because so that he can focus on his art. So I think he's saying a lot with, this Dream Factory song. And I think it's really important. So at least in Prince's camp, you're somewhat protected. You're under an umbrella of a guy who has morals, reflected Rogers. In Hollywood, the way Prince saw it, you're on your own. And Hollywood is far more decadent than anything he'd ever be in his way of thinking. Dream Factory may have come together quickly, but it was an important song that would inspire his next album. Normally, that would be enough for one session, but this one also featured Prince and the band recording Mountains, originally an untitled instrumental recorded by Wendy and Lisa at ATWIAD Studios in London from earlier in the month. He changed some of the sounds to make it his. Prince's lyrics start out with Once Upon a Time in a Land Called Fantasy, which is similar to how he began the latter on his last album, Once Upon a Time in a Land Called Sin and Plenty. But what follows was likely influenced at least partially by his interest in the Bible and how Jesus explained that the power of faith could move mountains. Prince changed the power of faith to love, but the ideas are similar. Mountains was a live recording with the entire band, plus Eric Lees and Atlanta Bliss, recalled BBC. That was recorded as a big production. Very rare, everybody playing at once. Mountains, my first introduction to not only working with Prince, but being creative with him in a recording situation, Matt Bliston recalled, also known as Atlanta Bliss. That was something that sort of sticks out in my mind as another milestone. I remember after we did the recording session that day, reflected Eric, Prince looked at Matt and said, "You have the gig, let your hair grow." And as we know that Atlanta Bliss would get a ponytail status. Although it may have originally been recorded for consideration for a potential continuation of the family, this 4-minute version of Dream Factory was edited and repurposed as the title track for his unreleased Dream Factory album and eventually released on Prince's Crystal Ball CD in 1998. 3 minutes and 7 seconds. Mountains, 3 minutes and 57 seconds would be released on the soundtrack to Under the Cherry Moon. The music would be used under the credits in the movie, and the song was released as the album's second single on May 7, 1986. It would peak at number 3 in the Billboard Hot 100 and number 15 on Hot Black Singles. The 5-minute instrumental version, originally recorded by Wendy and Lisa, was not placed on any Prince album during his lifetime. It would be great to include that in a parade box set personally. It is possible that An Honest Man was recorded on this date with Prince, both as an intimate track with Prince playing piano and singing, and also a longer variation with him reportedly leading the full band. I would love to hear this version, while providing a guide vocal and instructions about what he wanted the band to play. But it was likely tracked during the session that started on November 29th, or possibly at some time in early December. It appears that it was actually rehearsed and put to tape in the early morning hours on November 30th. There's a paragraph about Eric Leeds talking about playing on An Honest Man that I will skip and go to the next paragraph, which is there's a version that exists of An Honest Man with horns. Remember Susan Rogers? In fact, for An Honest Man, there's a master, and then there is a piece called Horn Pieces. So I know it was done with horns at some point. Now, I would also love, An Honest Man is one of my favorite songs that Prince has ever done. And I really wish that it would have been included on Parade or as a B-side for Parade, because I think it's really important to Under Cherry Moon's film narrative. But we don't have time for that either. So some additional overdubs and a mix for Sheila's Touch Me, Hold Me may have also taken place during the session. Status, the 5-minute An Honest Man remains unreleased, but he drastically reworked the song the following week. Okay, just really quickly, I want to show some of the Sunset Sound work orders, and these are all for Sheila E. And you can see that it was originally BPS, and then it became Touch Me, BPS on November 18th. Then it became Touch Me on the 19th, and then it became Touch Me proper on the 22nd. So they spent a long time on Touch Me, Hold Me. And I do think it's one of Sheila's best songs in terms of her vocal performances. And you can tell that, they really spent the time on it. So, Celie, did you want to say anything about, the Mountains or Honest Man or Dream Factory?
Just, he blew our mind again. These three songs in one. Like, these are three songs that are somebody's career. And then these three songs happen in a day. And the fact that, Dream Factory, as those of us who create, comes from, one thing about it, what I like about Prince, yes, our creations come from our personal life, but Prince was always able to take his personal things and then make them a lot larger to speak to a larger thing. So I'm writing this song because I'm mad at Paul, but then I'm also going to turn it into a warning, right? A story, a story that people can use as a warning. So you get petty Prince, but you also get storyteller Prince. And just, I'll end by saying that I always listen to Crystal Ball and Dream Factory together. Like, if I play Crystal Ball, I'm playing Dream Factory. Like, I'm not listening to those two. And just the Dream Factory and Crystal Ball, I hope people understand what I mean. It has those kind of slow Prince opening beginnings that some real funky ish about to go down. Like, when Prince there's a way when Prince starts in a slow way that it has so much intensity that that it's all about to get cracking. And I love that about Crystal Ball, and I love that about Dream Factory. And again, to hear him do it live, and to him, don't forget about your friends and the whole chant, which we know is petty, but it's also funky. So yeah, and so I've recommended this before, and I think that D68A has it on his channel. If you haven't heard the Boston Live 1986 Boston Live show, they do a fire. It's a fire show, and I love the chant that they do from Dream Factory in that chant. That's it. I think, I'm not sure, but I think, man, Sanique, you got good eyes if you saw this. He said he saw this. This was actually drawn in one of my best friend's baby brother drew this, and it had to be, when was I in college? I graduated college in 91. So somewhere between 90 and 91, this was drawn. And I keep this as a memory of my best friend and his baby brother, Ricky Graham, and his baby brother, Albert Graham, who drew this for me. So yeah, man, y'all got great eyes.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. So just really, yeah, it does look photorealistic. Really quickly, Love Sexy 71. I'd say that really quickly. So if you look at these work orders, Sheila E signs them. You can see her backwards E because she was signing her name backwards, and she still is now because she took a hiatus from doing that, which I'm very thrilled about. But you can see that she's recording at Sunset Sound with Peggy Mack. And this is while Prince was still over in France. So Prince didn't have any involvement with Hold Me, but I'm assuming that maybe Prince had Sunset Sound on lockdown, and Sheila was basically able to use it while he was over in France. And then I just went back to Duane's book, and I basically read some additional overdubs and a mix for Sheila's Touch Me, Hold Me may have also taken place during the session. So, there's a possibility that, Sheila came by or I don't know. It's very unclear. If you read this, or if you read between the lines, Duane is unsure about some of this. So there's a lot of possible, but not necessarily that it was true. Okay. So since this has been like a marathon session, we're not even going to go through our normal ending. And if Celie doesn't mind taking us out, I just want to thank everyone for being here on a holiday weekend. That just really shows your dedication. And thank you so much for all of your chats, as always. It's so amazing. And, it seems like that picture, your controversy picture, Celie, is getting a lot of love.
Yeah, he did a great job. And of course, knowing it was by my best friend, one of my best friend's baby brother, it has a lot of emotional value to me. So that's why I keep it right here in the office.
Yes. So I'm sure a lot of you are with your families, and we don't want to take away more time for your families during the holidays. So Celie, when you're ready, take us on out.
So as we always do, we want to say thank you for Prof. Duff for curating this. We want to say thank you to Brother C and Prof. C, both of them, CNC Music Factory, for coming and giving us, all right, the CNC Music Factory came and gave us those great insights. Always to Brother D. And of course, it was a sight for sore eyes to see Brother Rick, the Rickster. Ricky, we love you. Thank you for popping in. Thank you for letting us know that you're getting better, brother. And you're going to keep getting these purple prayers. To everybody in the chat, to steal a word from Brother Turnbull, the chat is the show. And so we want to thank you guys for showing up and for helping Prof. Duff carry this. And like we said, I know you guys are getting ready for the weekends and for holiday. You in Alabama?
I'm in Georgia.
You're in Georgia. Okay. So I just wanted to say that. And so if nothing else, we always say, where two or more gathered in the name of Funktivity, funky things will happen. Hopefully, well, not hopefully, I want to say this correctly. If things go right for me, I'll see y'all in 3 weeks. If things go wrong for me, I'm going to be sad as hell, and I'm going to need y'all to cheer me up in 2 weeks. So I won't see y'all next week. Hopefully, I won't see y'all in 3 weeks, but if I see y'all in 2 weeks, I'm going to need y'all to cheer me up. Thank you, Prof. Duff, for curating this space. We'll see everybody next time.